was a California August in '82 when my mother gave birth to the Spam Tech crew. 13 years later had me looking at Linux. Programming made me stronger like Papa the Spinach. Now, people know that a DG carry weapons, but if that weapon is a nest you step in, we finish Contra with only one life. Finish Metal Gear 2 using only a knife, right? People might think that we're frontin', then they see all the noobs online that I'm putting. My rhymes flow just like my code, even though my source is owned by Sko. What about my Indian? I keep it low. See me on Gunbound, call me pro. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. No. I'm a legend everywhere that I go, every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go, every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I said my heart's wide open, goatsy, and my windows min like Ho Chi. I'm just another nerd, but I rap about it. Shit talk on the net, then I laugh about it. I've been caught slipping like the Star Wars kid when I'm on eBay sniping a bid. Catch me on a webcam like Numa Numa. See me at the club and I'm rocking Puma. Another net legend if you see me yodel. Spit a little something that's anecdotal. Tell me about the time the E-Bombs world stole your chop like I stole your girl. Catch me on Gen May, not something awful. Low tax would ban me, raffle. I'm a certified legend, but I'm still your bro. This is a PSA, boy, the more you know. I'm a legend everywhere that I go, every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go, every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spams. Yeah. I'm a legend everywhere that I go, every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spam. I'm a legend everywhere that I go, every distro, every Craigslist hoe pumping they fist, yo. Can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's jams, and they can't get enough of Whitey Cracker's spams. Yeah.
From Tony's back in town today, hopping high, he's here to stay. Everyone can feel the vibe, chosen one of CG's tribe. Jumping in with flaring grace, half they smiles on every face. Ribbit, and off we go, Tony's the star of the show. Bow down to Tony. He's the frog, our one and only. Chosen one, we've waited so long. Now he's back to right every wrong. Leaping through the streets at night, bringing joy and pure delight. Crowds are cheering everywhere. Frog Tony's back without a care. Left and hopping right, sparking magic in the night. CG's hero, love so true. Tony's here for me and you. Bow down to Tony. He's the frog, our one and only. Chosen one, we've waited so long. Now he's back to right every wrong. Bow down to Tony. He's the frog, our one and only. Chosen one, we've waited so long. Now he's back to right every wrong. Every wrong! Leaping through the streets at night, bringing joy and pure delight. Crowds are cheering everywhere. Frog Tony's back without a care. Hopping left and hopping right, sparking magic in the night. CG's hero, love so true. Tony's here for me and you. Me and you. Every roll.
What's up, meatbags? It is the often imitated, never duplicated, chosen one of CG, Chicano Stanley, bad guy, bad dude, bad actor, the great brown hope, the detractor pope, the lighthouse on the sea towards your destiny, the one, the only, that dipshit that calls himself Frog, motherfucking Tony. Finbar, it's good to have you here, buddy. I traded in a vampire and an old man for a Finbar. What's up?
It's good to be here.
You are the jock John Romita, apparently.
Indeed.
Crazy. We're on time. We this is this streak of not being late and or gay. It's holding steady. We made it. We made it. Now, where's TJ? I don't fucking know. TJ doesn't tell me anything. TJ just takes off whenever he wants to. He's ungrateful. I think he's we don't talk about TJ. We don't talk about TJ. Okay?
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. But no, we're here with Finbar, which is more important. We were supposed to be here with Dazed Gaming, but I don't know what happened. He's MIA, missing in action. Blinded Braille also still missing in action. Another one. But you know who's not missing in action? Eric Winberg with the big smiling Shiba Inu super sticker. Look at that. $2, kicking it off right. Guys. I don't know if you're aware of this, Finbar. You haven't been here for a while, but we were the 92nd most super chatted YouTube channel in the category of entertainment a couple of weeks ago.
How many people are in that category?
Thousands.
Wow. You must be rich then, right?
Tens of thousands. There's so many in that category. Eric July might have bought his own way to the number 7 on the Billboard music charts for some tiny little insignificant category that no one actually pays attention to. And the person that's in the second place spot is like, 10-year-old record that like boomers have to buy because their phones broke and they had to buy a new phone and they don't know how to figure out how to get their music back. Right. So that's who Eric July was up against. But we're up against actual people. We're up against the local universe. We're up against what's her name? That idiot that's not funny. The one that stole the presents. Fuck, what's her name? Chrissy Mayer. Chrissy Mayer. We're up against people like that.
Well, you're ahead of all them.
Head of all of them. 92nd most super chatted for the day. That's an accomplishment no one else can take back. And it's because of people like Eric Winberg that we made this accomplishment. I couldn't do it without him and his contributions. So thank you. I appreciate it, Eric. And for you.
Fuck them hoe ass roads, man.
All right. TJ did go get milk. He went to go get cigarettes and milk. He'll be back later. Finbar, I've had an exciting week. Lots of things going on in my life. But you haven't been here in a while. What's been going on in your life, buddy? How you been?
I've been all right. I've not been doing a lot. Just, you know me, Tony, just trying to keep out of trouble.
You stay out of trouble.
Down. Yeah, just keeping my head down and getting on with it. And I'm not back long. I'm only back a couple of weeks and then I'm away again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How's the comic coming along? Making any progress with that?
Yeah. I don't know does TJ show you stuff when like you go backstage after shows? Or
TJ does not show me anything. I have no idea.
I told him not to.
I'm completely in the dark. If you guys could have one page done, for all I know. Okay?
He's when I send the pencils across, right? I think, right, this will look okay, and then he sends me what he's done, and it's fucking totally different from the thing I sent him. It's like he makes it 10 times better. Don't worry, it's not going to be
different in a good way, not in a bad way.
Yeah. I sent him like page 10. I sent him some stuff on page 10, and I went, look, this is the best I can do with this. I've done this about 3 times, and he'll take it. He'll go, don't worry about it, and then he'll send it back to me, and he'll be like a totally different thing.
Don't worry, I will fix it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I'll fix it. And then, the stuff I've sent him, I've drawn about 4 different types. We could make 4 different comics. in the end, and it would all be different stuff.
With the
You'll
amount
see
of
what I mean when we show you. When he's with me and we're together and we go backstage, we'll show you.
eventually, I would like to know what my comic looks like. You know, do I have to wait till everybody gets it out, till it gets sent out? I won't get a copy until everyone else gets one, and I'll be surprised, just like the audience, right?
No, I was under the impression that he was showing you things just like on screen rather than sending you files or JPEGs.
Neither one. I haven't seen a single image, not a JPEG file, not a fucking screenshot, not something backstage on his phone. Nothing. The most I've seen is the stuff that you showed in the background, because you're like, oh, I made posters of these things.
Well, that is slightly concerning.
Why is that?
I mean, I don't know why you're not concerned about that.
Why would I be concerned? I trust you guys. I implicitly trust.
Well, this is something we should have done privately, but here's what we'll probably do. We'll finish it and we'll just have a conference where we go through the thing page by page, and then you tell us what changes you want. Yeah. How does that sound?
Sounds good. 56K has an idea for you. So instead of drawing details, just pencil in instruction details for TJ.
There's some stuff that when we show you what we've done, there's some stuff that you'll look at and you'll say, no, I liked it better the way you did it before, and we'll have to change it back. There's a couple of things that me and TJ probably disagree on about what we should put in the final book, but ultimately the decision is yours. So that's when we do that conference together, and it'll be me, you, TJ, and Ben. Ben will have a say in it as well, because he's doing the.
Yeah, this is not filling me with confidence, Vinbar.
No. What I'm saying is you're going to have a couple of options, and both options are equally good, but it's your choice. Do you get what I mean?
I do get what you mean.
We're not having a creators clash in the background, and just let's take page 5 for example. Okay. Do you remember what's on page 5?
I do remember what's on page 5.
I've done page 5, right? He inked it. Then he decided, do you know what, it'd look better if we did it this way? And then he did that, and I looked at it and I went, actually, like the original one a bit better than this one, but hell, it's up to Tony.
That's the bus scene, right? That's the
yeah.
In the original, it was coming towards us, right?
Yeah.
So what did he change? How does he have it?
It's more of a zoomed out shot. I don't want to show you right now because we're live.
Well, why not? Page 5 is going to be one of the preview pages. I think the first 5 pages.
I'm not showing you now. I'll show you backstage. The faster you knock this nonsense out, the quicker I'll show you this page.
Red Diddy says Tiamat put the wooden stake through TJ's heart. That's what it was. Yeah, Tiamat went to Transylvania, found TJ's coffin, put him out of his misery.
Or his dad. Remember, he found his dad.
Yeah, well, he dug up his dad and had a conversation with him, and that Tiamat's.
You suck. You are no talent.
The iconic bus scene. Does Frogman fall on top of a bus? You have to buy the comic to find out. It is a very iconic, pivotal scene. That scene's going to be drawn in at least 3 different comics. It's going to be featured in our music video, our live action trailer. The movie within Booker's comic is going to definitely feature that scene. It's iconic, right, Finbar?
Well, Cosmic Vader asked that question, and it just so happens. Just give me a sec. Talk amongst yourselves.
I don't know if he falls on top of it so much as jumps on top of it. Leaps, really.
Hang on. Oh, just so happens, Cosmic, something on that page for you, my friend.
Is there now?
Yes.
So you guys are just adding people in, adding things into the book that could definitely run me into copyright and legal issues. I'm so glad of all the legal issues that you guys are putting me through. This is going to be a fun comic book launch.
It's like a Where's Wally, Tony.
Where's who?
Or Where's Waldo, or whatever you call it in the States.
Say Where's Wally? What the fuck?
That's what we call it in the UK. We've got Danimans, Cosmic. Who else? We got Katie's there, Suits there.
Froggyra dropped Frogman on top of the bus.
Samba Gogo's there.
He drops Frogsome.
We deliberately left Red out because he's a dickhead, so he's not there.
Yeah, we don't need red in our.
What's the happenings there? Who else is there? Balder's there.
I'm glad you guys have made all these executive decisions, adding things that I definitely did not put in my script.
Well, if you wrote all these into the script, it would be a fucking 95-page script. It's
saying,
very minor creative liberties. Don't worry about it. Why have I worried you with this? I shouldn't have worried you.
I am now worried. I'm now super worried. I wasn't like 10 minutes ago. I was in a good headspace. I was like, yeah, the comic's getting done. Everything's fine. And now you're worrying me.
It is getting done. What are you talking about? What am I worrying you about?
I'm worried about all the things I'm gonna have to be like, no, I don't like that guy. That guy's a dickhead. Take him out. That's guy's not friends with us no more. That's a legal issue. That's a legal issue. That's a legal issue.
No, we've taken out everybody you've fallen out with already.
Have you? I fall out with people almost every day.
Well, we'll keep taking them out. Don't worry about it.
It's gonna be a blank space. It's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be nobody and nothing. No names. Everything's gonna be just blank. Very worried.
Jan, stop asking about the 10-10-25. It's not happening on the October 10th, man.
So when do you think it is going to happen? Are we going to get? Is our comic going to get done before Super Killer launches? That's the big question.
Well, Super Killer's never going to launch, so
it was supposed to launch last month. This month,
I know.
2 months ago.
He was on here and he promised us it was coming out the following month. I have to go back and find that clip. He promised me. I asked him specifically, so it's coming out next month. Vito. Yeah.
He promised, and then he even said further that the digital would be out by the beginning of this month or the end of last month. It was like the end of last month, beginning of this month. We should definitely have it.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's ever coming out.
I see us more being ready Christmas or early New Year.
Christmas sounds good. Look, if it comes down to it, and all that's left is like lettering, right? And I think I would be confident enough to launch it if it was just lettering. I think we could knock out the lettering within a month.
No, well, you don't have to worry about that because while Ben's coloring, I'm gonna be lettering it over the top.
I'm just saying, if there's like 1 or 2 pages, what I'm saying is if there's just a couple of things, like because we wanted it 100% done before launching, right? But if it comes down to like it's close to the end of the year and we're like 5 pages short, right? I think we can go ahead and launch it. I think within that 30-day window of us, raising funds, that will knock out the last couple pages, or we'll pull a veto and you guys will just never get a comic. Hamilton says Tony's going to have a fallout with buses, at which point the iconic scene will involve a tricycle. That could possibly happen.
No, I'm fairly sure we'll be ready for that conference I was talking by about October, maybe 10-10.
Oh God,
conference.
Grim Jim says, "Oh my God, Tony is worried. I hate Tony now. Damn it." Says, "Lol, I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be great. We're all gonna be great. Don't worry." So, what else have you been up to? Killing any prime ministers lately?
Huh?
Your silence does not fill me with joy, guys.
Who's doing what now?
How you been? You been assassinating any world leaders?
I don't do that. We talking about. Fuck you.
I know it was a joke, and then you got really quiet, which made it not seem like a joke. It was really weird.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I was late on the Ask Us Anything. So instead of just members only this week, Ask Us Anything is open to everybody. So get that in before the end of the show. You can ask us literally anything. In addition to that, we do have the Celebrity Butt Challenge once again. Celebrity Edition this week. It'll be open when we run that, so you guys can come in, participate. We got the original, the OG Butt Challenge champion here, Finbar, so should be great. But we got a lot to talk about tonight, Finbar. I don't know if you know this. We're going to be talking about Superman and a controversial scene that they take out of the movie already. They took it out. They had a scene in the movie and just removed it. So that's crazy. We got to talk about, of course, Ironheart. I finally seen the entire series, the whole thing. So I'm going to talk about that as well as what Mephisto's involvement might mean for the future of the MCU. So look forward to that. Plus, we probably got to talk about Andor. We didn't talk about it before, but I finally also caught up on that and watched that whole thing. And I got thoughts on Andor. So on top of that, Nintendo Switch, we got to talk about the monumental sales. Despite everybody complaining, despite all that, apparently the Switch has sold 5 million units already. 5 million.
It's good going.
But also, apparently, you could get permaban from Switch 2, and even Nintendo isn't able to reverse your bans.
What do you mean permabanned from Switch 2?
I mean, permaban. Like your account can be banned forever, and never, ever, 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 ever be returned to you. Like it just gets fucking yeeted into the void.
Meaning you can't use your Switch.
Yeah.
So they just brick your console that you paid 450 quid for.
Pretty much. There's a lawsuit pending
world
right now in Europe and I think Brazil because of that, their ability to brick your Switch at any point. We also got to talk about Xbox and their hardware dead, says one of the Microsoft gaming veterans. I don't know who it is, but hopefully when we read this article, it'll be, what's his name? The Amico guy. What the hell is his name?
Who? Which Amico
guy?
Come on,
the one that joined the Amico from the Xbox team. What's his name? Finbar. You don't remember? No. Remember they made a big deal about him, and then he left within like a month.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, fuck.
I don't remember his name.
Where the hell is 56K warning when you need him? Come on. I know 56K warning remembers him. He was bald. Jay Allard.
Is that who it was?
Yeah. Remember? They made a big deal about him?
I do remember, but he never really did anything. He was only there for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it'd be really nice if it was him, though.
Do you remember they hired him and he went, "What's this place?"
Yeah,
oh, no,
like,
fuck
what's
this.
going on?
I'm out of here.
Yeah, but I remember they were making a big deal. That was like, that. Remember, this means it's legit, guys. Jay Allard's here. It's legit. The Amico is going to dominate everything. A month later. So what's up with Jay Allard?
So investments off the back of that.
Lots of investments. 56 says, I'm an Amico tourist. Damn it. Don't make fun of him. It's crazy. What else we got to talk about? Oh, Sega, they're making a comeback. Apparently the brand new president of Sega is talking about he's going to turn the ship around. Quote, reviving Sega will be the greatest achievement in my career. So
I'm down for that.
Of course, we got to talk about the Stop Killing Games initiative being launched over there in the UK and Europe. So, and Marvel Rivals. I don't know if you know this, Finbar. You're a big Marvel Rivals guy, right?
Not really. Remember,
I know you love that game.
We always get into these things for a couple of weeks and then abandon them.
Yeah, well, apparently Marvel Rivals has a license to turn any character from the past 85 years of Marvel history into a playable character. So
I would have thought that went without saying.
No, it usually doesn't, because usually they license characters by character, right? It's not usually a blanket like, hey, just any character in Marvel's license. It's usually like these, because Spider-Man is usually licensed by Sony, and they take care of all the video games. So there's usually a deal you have to work out for that. Then other characters are licensed out piecemeal to other companies, and so there's always that issue. And then like when you have like all the mobile games and everything, they're getting licensed. It's usually a big headache. That's why certain characters are always being used and certain characters aren't. And then like you got games where like, oh, here's like 6 or 7 original characters that like for no reason exist in this Marvel game, right?
So that's why. Okay, that makes sense.
So, you know, we gotta get into all that. But before we get into that, I gotta let you know that my day, my week, my month, and even my year has been fantastic. I got an interview next week with Carl of RNG. So make sure I'm gonna get the link for that. Make sure you guys show him some support. He's a smaller channel. He wants to talk video games. He wants to pick my brain on a bunch of things. So we're going to be doing that next Saturday prior to the Gabbing with Geeks. And hopefully you guys will give him a little support. Show him some love. Show him why putting me on gets instant viewership, right?
Is he a friendly?
Yeah, he's always a friendly. I
gonna
don't
try
do
and
interviews with
ambush you.
non-friendlies anymore. We don't do that no more around here.
Well, you don't know. Sometimes they try and ambush you, and then it doesn't really work out for them.
Yeah, either way, it'll be a fantastic interview. It should be great. So yeah, I got that in the works. I got some other videos I'm working on scripting because I do want to do some scripted content on the gaming and the comics channel. That's why there hasn't been any content on it really, except for the live streams of gaming. So hopefully this month we finally go ahead with that and we launch all the great new content. And you guys will be like, "Oh my God, Tony's the greatest YouTuber ever. Look at his content; it's so fantastic." And then I'll forget all of you guys exist. I'll pretend like I don't know any of you people. I'm like, "Who are you? Who are you guys? Who's this Dickington Post person? I don't know these."
It's definitely not criminal. Can tell you that.
Definitely not.
When are you going to get that wrestling channel started up then?
We got to get the other ones. We got to get the other ones all set and going. I got to get my routine. I got to get that all set. Then once I get that going, then I can add something else, right? We'll add the anime. We'll add the wrestling. We'll add the other. I want to have a whole network, the whole Frog Tony network. We're going to dominate YouTube in every category, right? The financial channel, we're going to get Chris Bacon on for the Frog Tony financials, where we just go over
financials and swords. It will be like a
financials and swords.
Double up.
It'll be Shadiversity plus that one guy who yells at you for spending your money combined. It'll be like a combined. It'll be great. Tony won't care about us anymore. I barely care about you guys now, so
this is true.
It won't be that much of a transition, right? I love each and every one of you guys. I love you guys. I love that we have this back and forth. It is going to be sad. There's going to be a day in the future when the chat is moving so fast that I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys the way I do, where there's going to be so many subscribers. I'm not going to know every one of you by name intimately, right?
Even the ones that have been there for 5 years.
We're going to lose touch. It's going to be very sad.
I did notice, though, that you have promoted 56k. Take your time. You took your time doing that. He's now rocking a wrench. It was weird. Somebody did, because I've always seen his name in green, and now I've seen it in blue with a wrench next to it, and I thought that looks weird. Why does that look weird?
Oh, you mean that kind of promotion? Yeah. He got a wrench a couple of weeks ago. I
don't know why he hasn't had a wrench for years.
I think that's exactly what somebody said was, how come 56k doesn't have a wrench? He's been here forever. Yeah. I was like, that's a good point. You should have a wrench.
There's quite a few people you should probably wrench that you haven't, let's be honest.
Yeah, 56k warning, speaking of, says, people should want that. I wouldn't be sad. I hope it happens. Yeah, that's right. His old account had a wrench. I deleted it.
That was a while ago, though. I mean, a long while ago.
Yeah, well, I had to make sure it was the same guy, so he had to be around for a new minute or two.
Right. You thought you'd wait a couple of years just to make sure it was the same
know,
guy.
In case he's playing the long game, right? You know, some of these people, they play the long game. They want to con you, trick you like they're your friends for 3 or 4 years, and then one day they just snap on a live stream and tell you to go fuck yourself, and then they never talk to you until they think that they can get a video game from you. Then they hit you up in DMs and go, "Hey Tony, can I come back to the channel?" And I go, "No, Gary, leave me alone." You know, stuff like that happens.
Yeah, just hypothetical.
Yeah, just hypothetical. Just anyway, it's good to be here. It's good to let loose. You know, we're bleeding subs. Apparently, I don't know if you know this, Finbar. You haven't been here for a while, but we've been bleeding subs. Like we're losing like 1 sub a day.
Yeah, they're all gift ones expiring, man.
No, not memberships. Subs.
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 We're losing a sub a day.
Losing a sub a day.
9.3.
I don't know if YouTube is purging, if people are deleting their accounts, if they're dying, if they're but people are unsubscribing at least one person a day.
It's another.
I think it's the alt accounts of all of our enemies.
Situation.
Yeah. But speaking of memberships, let me gift the 5 memberships since we're here. Since we're here on a nice Saturday, let me go ahead and gift 5 memberships. Lawrence White, which is definitely not 210 LG. And speaking of Carl of RNG,
Yeah,
Carl of
that's like
RNG received a membership. Fuck Norris got one. Miss 999 and Heol. So congratulations, guys. You are the newest members. Enjoy them. Dead channel, bud. That's what I'm saying. Dead channel. We got to do something. We got to figure something out. I don't know if it's because we do a lot of live streams. I don't know if it's because I get some subscribers from my shorts, and then they figure out, wait a minute, this isn't a food channel. This is a channel of a guy making fun of a black man. I don't want to be subscribed here. Like, there's a lot of reasons that we could be losing subs, right?
Don't think people are subscribing because of your food.
No, you would think that, right? You think that. But if I go to my shorts and if I look up, it shows how many people subscribe for that video. Like, they watch that video and then subscribe to the channel.
Then I think they've done it in a sort of, do you remember How to Basic kind of way? Do you remember that channel?
No. Are you saying in like an ironic way? Like they don't like my food? They just...
not ironic. They just think it's
weird and
they think gross. It's sort of a like dark comedy thing. You know,
but Tony, do you have 2.5 subs after 16 years on YouTube? That's a good point. Stray Beans just unsubbed, and he's our artist. If I can't keep Stray Beans around, what am I going to do?
It's understandable.
Aaron says subs from shorts will unsub. Yeah, I do think that, like I said, we have a lot of shorts that are completely unrelated to the content, right? Whether it's here's like my fucking food, or here's like some alcohol, or here's a fucking comic book picture, right? And so I can see people subscribing thinking this is the content, or like they're going to get more shorts like this, and then they don't. And they're like, oh, what the fuck is this channel? Unsubscribe. I've done it sometimes where I've subscribed to a channel for like one video, like, oh, I want to see their next content. And then I look at it and go, oh, that content sucks. Why did I ever subscribe to this channel? And I just unsubscribe.
Or you find out
Saunders.
You find out the politics don't align with yours, and then you go, fuck this guy.
I've never unsubscribed for political reasons. Unless the only time I've ever unsubscribed for political reasons is heavy spoilers, because in like, it's a channel where it's supposed to be talking about movies, like, hey, here's the latest James Bond movie, and let's give you all the spoilers. And then he just started throwing in like political fucking takes, right? Like, fuck Trump, this. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I just want to hear about this movie and the little Easter eggs and shit in the movie, right? Like, literally, there's no reason to be political during this fucking video. And he's throwing that shit in, so I fucking unsubscribed. It was because he I don't know if you follow the channel, but the main guy is like I think he's a Brit, right? I'm pretty sure he's European. Heavy spoilers.
Nah, I don't know what. I don't do much YouTube.
Well, I'm pretty sure the main guy is British, but he hired this other guy named MT, who like Mastertainment, who was doing like a bunch of Marvel stuff on another channel, but then like that channel like downsized and they fired him. So then this guy picked him up. Either way, it was the black guy that MT that started like throwing political shit into like the videos, like real fucking crazy leftist shit. And I was just like, fuck, I'm out.
Yeah, you don't need that.
56K says, I had a week of not being able to find anything to watch and purged my sub list. Paul from Heavy Spoilers says, little heck loot.
If you have a
how
week...
too basic, rip Filthy Frank, rip iDubbbz. Yeah. Filthy Frank still lives, but
he's
not
saying
as
How to Basic rip as well.
I think so.
It's a shame. Well, the novelty
Dickinson says, yeah, he says every single D&D video seems like it mentions Trump randomly these days. Lol. Yeah. It's like I said, there's if the video is a political video, or if it's like something to do with politics, I'm fine with it. Like, even if the opinion is something that I disagree with. But like, it's like, hey, here, we're gonna make chicken salad today. By the way, fuck Trump and all the cages that he's putting Mexicans in. I'm like, what the fuck? I just want to learn how to make chicken salad. I don't care about Trump putting people in cages. We're going to add some ice to the margarita, not like those fucking ice people arresting all the Mexicans. Like, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck is this shit? Okay, don't do that. It's I don't know. Does anybody like that shit? Does anybody go, you know what? I like it when they randomly like start praising the political guy that I like during a unrelated topic.
Yeah, people do like that. But you don't, because you're politically opposed.
No, even if they were like praising Trump, if like they're like, yeah, deport them Mexicans. And by the way, Spider-Man number 342 features the first appearance of. I'd be like, what the hell is that? What kind of transition is that in a video? Get out of my feed.
No, you know what lefties are like. They're crazed, so they're into that.
This
you know
is
what I mean?
true. Dickinson says, I only like it when it's funny and not just mad. You're supposed to push Webisticks. I thought putting Mexicans in cages was how you make chicken salad. No. I can see the confusion there. Obama was in Spider-Man. He thought Biden was the vulture.
He was on a cover.
Is that true though? In the comic, did he really think Biden was a vulture?
I don't know. I didn't read that issue, but I saw the cover with Obama on it.
Yeah. There's also, I don't know if you know, you think that's bad, right? Political comics are always cringe, but the Obama one wasn't so bad in as far as like, oh, he was the president and like you're saving the president, like Spider-Man saves the president from like a hijacking stuff, right? Like it's a little cringy, but the president has featured in Marvel comics before, whether it's like the Secret Empire replaced Nixon and he's like evil, or like fucking the president's, Clinton or somebody just like off screen, you know who the president is, but it's like they don't really show it. But the Hillary Clinton comic from DC, I don't know if you've ever seen this, Vinbar. They literally said that Hillary Clinton was a space alien sent to Earth to bring enlightenment to man, and that the planet Earth basically doomed itself by not voting her as president.
Oh. That's kind of like one of them YouTube channels you were talking about.
Yeah. Like the whole comic was centered around this weird thing that like, oh, she was running for president and she didn't win, and at the end like she like ascends into heaven, like literally like ascends into heaven, like she becomes energy, and like it's like so fucking cringe.
Must have been one of them blue-haired lesbians that they hired in. Drew that.
Rediddy says, I remember when Marvel made MODOK look like Trump. Yeah, they had a MODOK from another dimension. It was like Trump. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know how we got into this, but I've been having a good week. We're gonna have more good weeks in the future. But you know who's having a bad week? James Gunn. James Gunn's having a bad week.
Oh shit.
So here it is. It says, this Superman 2025 scene was so hated by audiences, it got removed entirely. Test audiences did not like this controversial Superman scene, and James Gunn took notice. Now, you're a comic book guy and stuff like that. You know, what do you think was the scene? What, if you had to hazard a guess, what it would be so reviled that they had it like, oh man, we should probably remove that. Test audiences hated it. What do you think happened?
I think I already read about it. Is it not when Ultraman punches Crypto?
Yeah, it is. Ultraman just clocks Crypto. Apparently, I think they should have left it in the movie. Personally, if your audience is that like has that such a visceral reaction to like the dog being punched, right? Like you did your job. You made the villain like evil. Like he's like. People are going to cheer. Like, he punches the dog, and then later on when Superman fucking punches Ultraman, right? Like, that would be like a huge fucking moment, no?
Well, I mean, I would look at it from this point of view.
I mean, really, realistic. Think about it. Before you go, think about this. Okay. Could you imagine I got a movie with Hitler, right? I got a movie with Hitler. Okay, I got a movie with Hitler. Captain America is going up against Hitler. He walks into fucking Auschwitz. There's a bunch of dead people. And people go, man, that hurts my soul. I don't want to see like dead Jewish people. You should remove that scene. And you remove that. So now he goes up against Hitler and there's no context as to why he's punching Hitler. You're just like, oh, it's just the bad guy. Isn't the fact that he did a horrendously evil thing good for the movie?
Yeah, I understand that. But so there's young kids watching this film, right? If a young kid watches the film and then walks out and decides to go and gas a bunch of Jewish people, it's quite difficult.
That's how Hitler did it. He saw Charlie Chaplin and he's like, wait a minute, I should gas a bunch of Jews.
It's quite difficult for them to be able to do that. It's not difficult, however, for them to go home and punch Rex in the face because they saw
Yeah,
Ultraman.
but the bad guy's doing it. It's not like Superman punches Rex in the face.
But kids are idiots, Tony.
No, this is the same kind of thinking that you like. Oh, kids are gonna jump off the roof with a plastic bag because they think it's a parachute, or kids will light themselves on fire because Johnny Storm is on fire.
I would agree with you there. Then I
Or
had
kids are gonna eat Tide Pods because they look colorful, and someone on YouTube made a joke about it.
I've seen kids do stupid things, man. So
I've seen.
I
Kids
understand
do
why it
stupid
was
things, too.
removed, and I would probably agree. I don't think it's really necessary to see the dog punched in the face. Or kicked
Dickington
or-
disagrees. He says kids don't do that, or else every child on Earth would be a ninja, Finbar.
Kids don't do what? Punch dogs in the face.
Yeah. Dickington says people got really mad at the latest season of Doctor Who for having the outline of a cat that was never shown and saying it's dead.
Well, Doctor Who's shit, and it's watched by fucking. No offense, Dickington, if you watch it, it's watched by fucking idiots.
Blue-haired idiot.
Especially now it went very left wing.
Yeah.
So I've probably offended all the
Crazy.
fucking Who fans.
All right. Well, I could say, okay, so maybe remove the punch, right? Maybe remove the punch, but at least have some indication or some like, he did it off screen, or like you move the camera over to Superman, and like you look at his face, like he's like, Crypto, help me, right? And then like Crypto's running towards Ultraman, and then you look at Superman's face and you just hear the dog like make the noise like the
Yep.
like, because it's just in like Superman's eyes just get big, like, you fucker, you punched my dog, right? Like maybe
Well,
do that.
He really loves that dog, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, everyone loves a dog. Everyone. I remember I went to the theater and I saw Independence Day, right? And there's the scene where the dog jumps over, like the dog's trapped. Like, oh no, the dog might die. Like there's humans dying and no one cares, but this dog was just like trying to get through the city, and it made this jump. And literally, the one of the few times I've heard people like clapping in a theater was when the dog jumped over and made it to safety.
Yeah, fuck all the people that died in the alien attack, just the dog. As long as the dog gets it.
So I'm saying, like, if you do something like that, like that'll definitely get people talking, and people have like a visceral reaction to it. And so when Ultraman gets his comeuppance, when he gets beat up, people would feel a lot better about it. I mean, if he punches the dog and then gets away with it and never like, pays for it, then I could see them being upset. But like,
I just
don't
think
remember.
James Gunn's probably just. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, you're a wrestling fan. I don't know if you remember, but a couple years ago, the Miz had gotten in trouble because they were down in, I want to say like Brazil or something. They're in South America, and they basically like took the flag from the country and like threw it on the ground because they were like heels at the time. They like threw it on the ground. Was like, yeah, America #1. Fuck this other country, and like they got like fined and shit. And they were like threatened with being fired by the company for doing that because people were upset.
Wasn't it Jericho?
Yeah, I think it was Jericho and the Miz. It was two.
Right.
Because I think they were teaming up at the time. But I'm saying, like, that's legitimate heat. Like, the company was going to fire them for the heels getting the audience legitimately upset with them. Like, that's their job, to get the audience upset. Like everyone's such a fucking special snowflake. They're like, oh no, the bad guy's doing bad guy things is too offensive to me.
Yeah, it needs to be evil, but not too evil.
Radini says Snyder would send Crypto back to the farm. Yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot worse, right? If this was the Zack Snyder run, he would have snapped Crypto's neck.
Yeah.
No, what would have happened was he would have punched it. Ultraman would have punched Crypto, right? And Crypto would have been crippled, and then Superman would snap his neck to put him out of his misery. It's like, I can't let you live like that, boy.
Yeah. Oh, jailer him.
Yeah. Could you imagine? He's just loading up a kryptonite bullet in his shotgun. Sorry, boy.
It's funny because he's fat.
I want Superman to be the superhero version of the old Yeller now. The dog getting hit has to be the Krillin dying, and Soups has to go Super Saiyan 3. Yeah, that's what Big Boss Man fed the dog to El Snow. It wasn't the
Oh,
Al
yeah.
Snow, was it? I thought it was the Big Show.
No, wasn't it Big Boss Man's dog?
No, Big Boss
can't
Man.
remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Big Boss Man was feuding with the Big Show because at one point he grabbed his dad's casket and was like dragging the dad's casket through the grave. Remember that?
Vaguely.
Because then the Big Boss Man jumps on it, or not the Big Boss, the Big Show jumped on the casket and like he's driving it through the graveyard with the Big Boss Man on, or the Big Show on the casket.
It was Al Snow's dog.
Was it Al Snow?
Right. Yeah.
I know it was Pepper because he's like he gave him pepper steak. He's like, I hope you enjoy the pepper steak. These overly sensitive goobers need to watch Old Yeller and read where the red fern grows. If they can't read, they could watch that too, I guess. Those are some good books. Also, Johnny Tremaine. If you haven't read Johnny Tremaine, I highly suggest that. It's a very fucking good book. It's about a guy with a crippled hand. He poured like liquid molten steel on it, and like his hand gets all deformed.
They should call this book Johnny Deformed.
You remember that's from The Simpsons, huh?
I had a leaf through that Amazing Spider-Man with Obama. It turns out he was the chameleon. Obama was the chameleon.
All right. So according to two of its stars, Superman was forced to remove one scene because it was so hated by test audiences. James Gunn's new vision for the DC universe is finally set to make its silver screen debut in the upcoming Superman, ushering in a new era for the blue brand under the tutelage of the Guardians of the Galaxy filmmaker. While test screenings for the film have been a bit up and down, I've heard there have been nothing but down. I haven't heard anyone say anything good.
Well, there was a pretty bad one that leaked, right?
That's what they keep saying. I don't know if it's true or not. I just keep seeing online, new test screening leak. Everyone hates the movie. But
well,
I don't know if it's a bunch of like Snyder cultists pushing this or, you know.
We'll find out next Friday.
Yeah. Well, you'll find out because I'm not going to go watch this shit in theaters. I'm not a big
I'll let you
Superman
know.
fan.
I think Aaron said he's seen it on Thursday. I'm pretty sure he said that somewhere. So he'll tell us first.
It says, while test screenings for the film have been a bit up and down, anticipation for the movie is still high, as Gunn and the team put their finishing touches on the title. Speaking as part of some recent Superman interviews, stars Maria Gabrielle de Faria and Sarah Sampaio revealed one of the changes that was made to the new movie after a series of test screenings. The pair disclosed that this particular sequence featured the villainous Ultraman taking on Superman's dog Krypto and was deemed too brutal for movie theater audiences.
So the scene is Ultraman going one-on-one with Krypto.
Yeah, I would imagine they show in the trailers Luthor and them going into the Fortress of Solitude. So I could imagine that Krypto's in the fortress protecting it with the robots.
Oh, yeah, you know he takes the dog because of that scene where Superman's busting into Luthor's office asking where the dog is.
Yeah. It says Gabrielle de Faria and Sampaio, who played the engineer and Eve Tessmacher in the upcoming blockbuster, told Jake's Take that originally the movie featured a scene that featured Ultraman punching Krypto, but it was cut as it really did bad in the test screenings. It says they actually cut a worse scene from the movie. Me and Nick were a bit pissed about it, but it's okay. Well, they cut Ultraman punching Krypto because apparently it did really bad in the test screenings. See, Nick Holt agrees that they should have kept that in there.
Well, now that I understand that Ultraman and Krypto were facing off with each other, it's a bit different. I just assumed Ultraman walked into a room and just fucking laid one on Krypto, just out of the blue.
Like the dog's barking, he just hits him. Shut the fuck up.
Not even like the dog's back's turned to him and he just walks up right up behind him and fucking smashes him in the back of the skull. That's what I imagined. Because that's the kind of thing James Gunn would do.
It says it's not okay. You can't punch a dog. You can't punch. Okay, no, I did not punch the dog. The dog attacked me first.
Yeah, that's okay. If a dog's attacking you, you can knock fuck out of it. Yeah. In fact, I encourage you to do so. Yeah. Only if it's attacking you.
No further details of the cut Kryptoverse Ultraman scene were provided, but one can likely fill in the blanks about why the sequence ultimately ended up on the cutting room floor. Because they're a bunch of fucking pansies, that's why.
Oh man, Saggy comes in when I'm talking about punching dogs.
No one cares, Tony. You have AIDS, and you didn't give me a hot dog on the 4th of July. Well, it's because I have AIDS. I can't give you a hot dog if I got AIDS.
I'll give you a hot dog, Saggy.
The Saggy actually called me on the 4th of July, and I was at my parents, and my mom's like, "Who the hell is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's my black friend." I was like, "She gave me the N-word pass," and I go, "Right, Saggy?" And Saggy just clams up. She goes, "What?" I go, "Tell her you gave me the N-word pass, and I can just say the N-word now." And Saggy's like, "I can't say that. I can't tell your mom that." I'm like, "Thanks, Saggy. You're really big help. Big help."
Tony, you're such a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Boston.
The dog hit me first. The dog is a hooah. Beefy says Revelations gave me the AIDS. Probably. What N-word? That's what I said. Now I'm not allowed to say it no more. She took away the pass. Crazy. Now, why did they cut the Crypto Ultraman scene? Just hearing these quotes, some may bristle at the fact that James Gunn and company gave in to test audiences and cut the Crypto Ultraman scene, but it may have been for the best. This is ultimately what test screenings are for. They allow studios to show early, often unfinished cuts of the upcoming films, get feedback, and then return to the lab to improve the end product. I don't know. You know, I can understand if they cut it because like PETA was like threatening to boycott or some shit.
Yeah.
Fans have already seen just how ruthless Ultraman can be in the new Superman movie, but his punching a dog as adorable as Crypto might have been one thing too far. I don't think so. I think it would have been fine. I think they're.
I think he's just. What I was going to say was, I think he's just trying to play it safeness and see. I think he upset India as well.
How do you upset
Didn't
India?
He said something in an interview about Indians, I think. Then he had to have another interview where he was kind of praising India. You know, like the way the WWE do with like they always glaze Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I think he had to glaze the Indians the same way they did that.
He's like, I love walking around all the shit on the streets, guys. It's fantastic. I love when the water is browner than mud. It's great.
Raping women, I love it.
Yeah. Those women deserved it for walking around in India unattended. You guys are definitely in the right.
Gang rape.
We're terrible people.
That's what I'm going for.
Is that what? Like when I heard about it, like the Indian, like they seem like such a nice people that I was like, oh, Indian gang rapes. It's a really weird thing for a peaceful country.
They do seem very nice when they call you up and ask you to
do not redeem, sir. Do not redeem, sir.
Somebody think you were an Indian at one point as well.
Yeah. Being attended in India doesn't stop the rape either. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Speaking of raping, have you seen Ironheart, Finbar?
No. Is it bad?
Ironheart is actually not bad. I actually enjoyed Ironheart, guys. I don't know if this is going to be a hot take, but Ironheart is actually pretty fucking good. In fact, I would say it's one of the better MCU TV shows out there. I actually want more of it.
Ironheart, Tony?
I have not read Ironheart. I've never read the comic. I don't know anything other than she's like this cocky, arrogant, racist chick who's like, I want you to pretend I'm the N-word so I can like overcome my adversity that I don't actually have or some shit. She's like, teacher, can you tell me that I'm not good enough because I'm black so I can prove you wrong? And the teacher's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, yeah, call me the N-word so I can then overcome this adversity that I don't actually go up against. None of that is in the show. The racial, the all that weird stuff is completely downplayed. Like most of the stuff from the comic isn't there. She doesn't say bad things about Tony Stark. There's some like joking, like, oh, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be better than Pym. And I'm like when she's like a younger kid, right? But you could just chalk that up to like, hey, like if I was going to be a basketball player, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to be better than Jordan. I'm going to be better than Kobe, right? It's not that those people aren't good. It's that I'm trying to say that I'm going to be as good or better than those people who are good, right?
Yeah.
And so the show is actually too short. Actually, it could have used 2 more episodes because it seems like the finale was rushed. Like it was like a rush to the finish line at the end.
Well, this thing was reworked a few times, right? Because it was filmed years ago.
Yeah, it was filmed like 3 years ago.
And I think they weren't confident in it when they looked at what they had and shelved it.
I only care about one thing. Does Ironheart have a CGI helmet?
Looks like it's all
yes.
CG. Yeah.
Tony, I am not a liar, Malik. I am not 100%. I enjoyed the show. I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. Right? I thought, oh, this is going to be bad. The first episode was kind of mid. Like I watched just the first episode and it was mid, and I was like, oh, I wasn't really looking forward to the rest. But then this weekend, when I was over by the parents' house, we watched the last 5 episodes back to back.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I want more. I want more of this show. It's like I said, spoilers, right? So they introduced Obadiah Stane's son, Ezekiel Stane.
Yeah,
right?
Ezekiel. I've heard about that. Yeah.
And his character is really good.
Isn't that the solo actor that plays him?
Yeah. He does a really, really good job because he plays like a nerd who's like put upon. It's like everyone's like beating him up and basically like, like bullying him. Right. And then like he tries to like stand up for himself, but then like you can see like he's also like goes back into like being like the wimp, but he's trying to like stand up, then he goes back to being like a wimp. And he does a really good job of doing this. He gets like electricity powers, and even though he could kill Ironheart, he still lets her go because they were friends. They were working together as buddies, sort of. Now there is the she's not a good person, right? She doesn't start off as like a Mary Sue. She's not like, oh, she's perfect and everything she does is good. She does bad things, right? And she gets called out for doing those bad. It's not like she steals and then everyone's like, oh, good job. It's stealing and taking from those evil white guys. They're like, no, you're fucking stealing. Why are you to stop being a thief? Right? Like she's getting called out by everyone else in her life for the bad choices she makes, right? And even for her justifications for making those choices, people are calling her out for it. Like, no, like you're lying to yourself. You're a selfish person. Ezekiel tells her, like, you're selfish. You're a selfish person that doesn't care about anyone else. You just want to get things for yourself. Right. And then she finally, like, I would say, like, because there's 6 episodes. So maybe like at 4 to episode 5, like late episode 4, early episode 5, she finally has that like moment where it turns around for her, where she's like, yeah, I am kind of a dick and I need to be better. Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, the show is really good. If you're someone who's super hypersensitive, like you're like, oh no, there's a trans character in the show. You're like, oh, like they don't make a big deal about it. They're not like, hey, I'm a trans person. You need to like respect my pronouns. She just exists in the universe, right? Like there's one character that's a drag queen essentially, but they don't like. There's not a big deal. They don't go, hey, this is our drag queen friend, and like they make it like she's so special. Aren't you brave for being a drag? No, she's just like a dude that's dressed in like very flamboyant shit with long fingernails, and they don't like make any special mention of it. It's just a person that exists within the fucking show, right?
Right. It's not going to corrupt the children or anything.
Yeah, it's not going to corrupt the children. Right. I think it's, like I said, it's well done. I don't know. Again, I didn't read the comics, so I don't know if she has like the father figure in the comics that she does in this. In this one, her stepfather and her best friend get killed in a drive-by. And that's what's like motivating her to become Ironheart. Like throughout the show, they keep asking her, why did she build the armor? Why did you build the armor? Right. And she keeps going, oh, because I could, right? Because I was able to, right? Then finally, she breaks down at the end and she's like, I built it to protect you guys because when I was there, she was there when the stepdad and the best friend got shot. She's like, I froze. I couldn't do anything. I was unable to protect anybody. So I built this armor so I could protect people, right? So I could protect the ones I love. And it's really fucking good. Like I said, if you keep an open mind, if you're like, obviously, yes, she's a smart 15-year-old black chick from Chicago, and it's so unrealistic. I got it. Like everything in Marvel is unrealistic. A guy getting bit by a spider suddenly becoming Spider-Man is unrealistic. Guys, get over yourselves, okay? They're not replacing Tony Stark. They're not fucking DEIing the entire MCU. This is just a character that exists, right? If you look at it as just there's a story that they're telling, and just watch it for the story that they're telling, and it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, they're not replacing them because they're bringing him back. They backed a dump truck full of cash up to his house. Remember?
Blackie black, black stereotype black. That's all the internet sees. Yeah, there's so there's a scene in the show that I didn't watch it right prior to hearing about it, and that's they're like, oh, Ironheart's an evil character because she let a guy die, right? She locked a guy in a room that was filling up with gas, and he dies, right?
Okay.
If you watch the show, no, she doesn't. So if you watch the show, what happens is she's involved in a heist that goes wrong, okay? And the greenhouses that they're in, right? Because they're trying to rob this guy who owns like these robotic greenhouses. He's like making like superfoods or whatever, right? So she's fighting with this dude, and the armor comes and saves her, right? Because the greenhouses are locked down, and it's pumping CO2 into all the greenhouses, and it's sucking all the oxygen out, right? In order to secure the greenhouses and keep the plant life from being destroyed, right?
Yeah.
So the armor comes, and they open the door, and the armor comes and grabs her, and she jumps into the armor, and she flies away, right? She flies away, and the door is open. After she's gone, the door then closes itself, like automatically closes again, and the guy gets stuck in there and he dies. Like she doesn't like. It's not like she's pushing the door closed and the guy's like, "Let me out! I don't want to die!" Like it's like, "No, fuck you!" Like or like she hits the button that like fucking makes the door like close, like as she's running away. Like no, she literally just takes off and the door just closes on its own, right? Like it was open because they overrode it and that's how the armor got in, right? But then when she takes off, like it just for whatever reason, the show wanted to kill that guy. The thing closed. It was like she had no idea, and she even feels bad about it later. She's like, "Oh my god, that guy died because of me," right? So it's not like she's like, "Yeah, fuck that guy." Like she's like, "No, like I feel bad because that guy died. Like it's my fault." Even though that guy was trying to kill me at the time, even though he was trying to stab me, it was literally threatening my life when I took off and left him in the room. Did Ironheart find Jasmine? No, she didn't. She did not find Jasmine.
She got distracted by disrespect.
It says BB says I thought the Ironheart trailer looked okay. I want to watch it. Like I said, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good show.
I will get around to it. It's just I've not had the chance to. It's not that I don't. It's the same way. What was the other one that came out before this? I can't even remember what was before this. The Agatha one was quite a hard watch. I couldn't really get through that in one shot. It was a bit boring. And then
that one was pretty boring.
And then I didn't go and see Cap in the cinema. It's just I've kind of burned out of these MCU now. Because
you know who would have saved? You know what would have saved this show? Batman.
Yeah,
Batman definitely would have made it better.
They've done so many bad Batman shows.
I mean, there's some moments where you go, well, she builds her armor at the end out of the car that her stepdad had. And it's supposed to be like, oh, like a cute, like emotional thing. Like her stepdad's car is what's protecting her now in the armor, right? It is kind of silly when you go, oh, I don't think that steel, if you know anything about cars, like the amount of steel in a car and how thick it is and everything is not really conducive to making a suit of metal out of it, right? An Iron Man type suit. They kind of explain away why her suit works because she's like, she doesn't have an arc reactor. She's like, oh, I use solar and wind power. And again, if you know anything about how that works, like the amount of wind and solar radiation to generate the amount of power her suit would need is like, yeah, the math won't math on that, but you kind of gotta. It's MCU, it's superhero shit, right? You just kind of like, okay, they explained it away. You just kind of gotta accept the answer, right?
Yeah.
Car was hit by lightning. It's in the fan fiction. Like even the bad guy. So Ezekiel gets a bunch of like implants put in him, right? And he could like shoot lightning and stuff. And the bad guy is able to override him. And so he like basically puppets Ezekiel. So Ezekiel's not a bad guy per se, but he was being controlled, and now he's kind of like well, I'm past the point of no return. Like people think I'm a bad guy, and I was implicated in a robbery and a murder. So it's like my life is fucked. There's no like going back. So he's like, it looks like he's going to become more of a bad guy. It's kind of like he's on the path to being a bad guy, right?
Does he not go full Ironmonger? No.
No.
Okay.
Like I said, he doesn't have a suit. He has bionics. He's got like internal. He's basically got an internal Iron Man suit.
Well, he can do the lightning thing in the comics, though, right?
I haven't read the new one, so I don't even know. All that shit is after I stopped reading.
Yeah, I haven't really read it. I know that he's got like lightning powers.
The devil made me do it, Your Honor. Yeah, the changes to the hood were kind of dumb. Like he's not the super villain, kingpin of crime type thing that he was in the comics, and he didn't get his hood from like a random demon. He got it from Mephisto specifically. He doesn't have the boots of levitation, and they didn't say anything about his guns being magical. Like he can curve bullets, but you're supposed to assume that it's from his hood that's giving him that power. Like it has nothing to do with the guns itself. There's no Norn stones. There's nothing like that.
So Mephisto is Borat here, is it?
Yeah, Mephisto is Borat, and there's one scene where he's like doing his coffee and he pulls the spoon out, and you can see in the reflection that he's red with like white eyes. But like on screen, he just looks like Borat. He does really good. Borat, fucking Sacha Baron Cohen, not silly. It's 100% serious. Like he falls into the role, right? Like you wouldn't even know if you watch it. His voice, his mannerisms, and everything is so different from what you're used to with Borat that if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't even know it was him, right?
But you don't get a full Mephisto reveal.
No.
Well, that's disappointing.
Like I said, he's just like a guy in a business suit. He was very nice. Yeah. Dormammu is not fit to lick my glorious asshole, is what he says.
Yeah, was Dormammu not involved in the hoods?
Yeah. So they mentioned Dormammu. So again, spoilers. One of the friends turns out that her mom was a sorceress who went to Carmitage, came back, taught her daughter some stuff. So they know, and that's where they get the help. Like, oh, what the hell is this hood made out of and stuff. And they tell her like, oh, it's really dark and mysterious. And we got like there's a 50% chance that I think it's involved with Dormammu, but we're not sure. And so that's why she basically thinks that Mephisto is Dormammu, and he's like, no. He's like, Dormammu's not fit enough to lick my glorious asshole. And she's like, well, who are you? And he's like, you can call me Mephisto. And he says that he basically has made a deal with a whole bunch of people throughout the years. Everyone on the Forbes 100 list. And Tony Stark, that's why this article is here. It's like, Mephisto's Ironheart speech may spell trouble for Tony Stark's MCU legacy. So he says that out of 100 people,
made a deal with him. Is that what he's trying to imply?
That's what the article is implying. Because again, he says out of the Forbes top 100 list, all 100 have made a deal with me. He says, there's the quote from the movie. He says, I've been watching you, rooting for you, wanting to meet you for some time now because I love the exceptional, the driven, the dogged, someone inquisitive and curious, someone who, due to no fault of their own, finds themselves always at the short end of the stick. That's why I'm here, to help the unseen, the unheard. It says, now, sometimes that means I deal with the selfish or the stingy. People who think their brute force makes them better or more useful than the rest of the world. For example, out of the Forbes 100 richest list, I made a deal with 100 of them, plus 14 kings, 3 popes, and also a Beto, Ringo. So in the MCU, Ringo has sold his soul to the devil, apparently.
Yeah, that's how his talentless ass got into the Beatles.
Yeah, he says he made a deal with Stark. That's the path to bring back Tony. Mephisto brings back his soul for reasons.
So somehow
Elon Musk is in Iron Man 2, so this includes him. Yeah, that's true. Elon Musk also made a deal. There's only 2 problems with this, okay? One, he doesn't say when, because the Forbes 100 list changes every year, right? It's not a static list. So it could have been a year where Stark wasn't on it, or it could have been a year where he was on it, right? So we don't know that specifically.
He said he's made a deal with 100 of the 100 on the list, but it doesn't specify what time period. So it could have been one every 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. Again, this is the devil, right? And you never trust he's always playing tricks. It's the king of lies, right? So that all could be lies. But also, he basically, so he brings back, at the end, again, spoilers, right? Because a lot of you probably ain't going to watch this anyway. But the dead friend, she hooks herself up to her computer and is able to create an AI from her memories of the dead friend. But she doesn't do it on purpose. She did it on accident. It's like a glitch. And so the dead friend is basically her Friday, her AI, right?
Jarvis.
Yeah, her Jarvis. But then at the end, when they use the hood's, she gets a piece of the hood, and they use that to power the suit to fight magic with magic, and that kills the AI, right?
Yeah.
And so then Mephisto, that's when he comes to her at the end, and he's like, "Hey, I can, give you anything you want." And they're showing you flashes of what you think is like him, like going into her brain and showing her like what could be, right?
Uh-huh.
But then at the end, the very, very end, you see that she hugs the what she thinks is the AI, but the AI is real now, and the chick has been brought back to life. And then her arm starts getting the same marks that the hood had on his face and his back. So it appears that she has sold her soul to the devil in exchange for the life of her former friend, or her
Oh dear.
formerly dead friend. So now Mephisto has his hooks in Riri Williams, right? And then Ezekiel Stain also goes to the friend in the post-credit scene to try to like do something because he wants to know about magic. No, not Ezekiel Stain. The hood. The hood goes up to the friend because he's trying to get the hood back, I guess. So he's asking her about magic.
So he loses the hood.
Yeah, they take the hood, and that's why Mephisto abandons him. He basically tells him, "Well, if you can keep the hood, I'll give you more powers. But if you can't, then I'm done with you, right? I don't, what good are you?" And in the big fight with Riri at the end, she manages to, obviously de-hood him. Like I said, it's really good. I don't like what they changed the hood in order to like when you talk about like the message in the show, right? Like he's the one who has like he's trying to like make it seem like he's fighting the rich people because they're a bunch of rich assholes and we're going to teach them that they can't take advantage of people, right? And then at the end, you learn that actually he's just trying to get back at his dad who kicked him out of the house at 12 years old. Like that, the whole thing has just been because his dad abandoned him at 12.
Right.
So like I said, it's really good if you watch it. Watching it all at once. It's only 6 episodes. Sit down, get yourself some popcorn. It's pretty decent.
I'll give it a go.
The soundtrack might put some people off because there is like at the beginning, like at the opening, at the closing credits, like I think a couple of times in the show, there's like urban music.
Oh
we'll
no,
say.
Not the rap music.
Yeah, there's some rap music. But okay, so the most famous Mephisto story in Marvel Comics. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Marvel did a 4-part series about Mephisto, where it's like Mephisto versus the Fantastic Four versus the X-Men versus the Avengers, right?
Uh-huh.
And it basically reimagined the Mephisto mythos because prior to that, in Marvel Comics anyway, Mephisto was just a demon, right? And it's Marvel's convoluted with what happens after you die, right? And so at the very early stages of Marvel, you had Hell from Hela, right? Hell, and that's where people went when they died. But then they started introducing other demons and hell lords, if you will, right? And that's where you get like the son of Satan, but then he's not really Satan, but he is Satan, but no, he's not Satan. And they kept going back and forth on that, and then like this, that, and the other. But this series, Mephisto Versus, basically is where you get the cementing Mephisto's place as he rules hell. And so during the whole thing,
from the 80s, right?
Yeah, during this whole run, it's basically he's tricking the various superheroes because he wants to get the soul of Thor. Because his plan is that if he gets Thor's soul, then he can basically tell Hela to stop taking the souls of mortal people, and I'll give you Thor's soul. Like, I have what you want. I'll trade you Thor's soul for all the humans that you can't take them anymore, right?
That's the Avengers one, right?
Well, that's the whole thing. It starts with him versus the Fantastic Four, and he gets the soul of Susan Storm, and then he trades that for the soul of Marvel Girl. Then he trades that for the soul of Storm, and he trades that for the soul of Thor. And then Thor is too good that he basically he's such a shining beacon of goodness that he breaks out of hell, right? But that basically shows Hela that if she ever got Thor into her realm, that he would basically have a rebellion and lead all the souls to overthrow her. So she doesn't want Thor anymore, and so she basically says, I'm not going to take any more humans because convoluted reasons. Basically, Mephisto wins. Like this, it turns out his whole plan wasn't to actually get Thor's soul, it was just to get Hela to stop taking human souls, and he accomplishes this. So he cements himself as the Marvel devil at the end of this comic, basically, right?
Uh-huh.
And then that carries forward throughout the rest of Marvel Comics, and then they retconned a bunch of stuff where basically old appearances of the devil were actually Mephisto, and then sometimes those appearances of the devil were Loki, depending on which comic from the 40s or 20s, right? But he is, for all intents and purposes, at this current juncture, the ruler of hell, the actual, factual devil, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying all this to say this. He has Riri Williams' soul, right? They could be setting up a similar situation where basically he gets Riri Williams' soul and then trades her soul to someone else, and such and so forth and so forth and so forth, right? Basically, like a big, like his end game isn't Riri Williams, but he's using that as an end to get this other one, right?
He's just trading up souls like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, got to collect them all. There's no backwards on the soundtrack, unfortunately. DC does it better with Lucifer, Zeus, etc. I haven't read DC, so I want to know. Like I said, Marvel, it gets really convoluted. Depending on who's writing the comic at the time, you'll get like, well, there's Hell Lords, but there's like multiple hells, but then there's only one hell, but they all have like sections of hell. But then like this guy's Satan, but no, he's not Satan, but he's actually some other demon that calls himself Satan. But then Mephisto is the devil, but actually he's not the devil. But there's a giant throne in the middle of hell, and no one sits on the throne. But whoever's like, they line up. Like apparently all the Hell Lords line up, and whoever's closest to the throne is the most powerful one at the time. But no one actually sits on the throne because they would be descended upon by everyone else, basically. It's like a weird, convoluted, like, we don't want to have the devil, but also we want to have the devil in Marvel Comics, right? And then, like, the one below all became the devil, but he wasn't really the devil. But he's like the other half of the one above all. It's so stupid. DC also has Lord Satanus. Well, Marvel has the devil. It has Satan. It has Satanish. It has Mephisto. So, and Blackheart exists too. Yeah. So yeah. Either way, good show. I would recommend it. Go watch it. I don't think that they're going to say that Tony Stark made a deal with the devil, but it would be interesting. Maybe he's trying to get the Soul Stone. Maybe that's what his end game is. More souls equal more power, right?
Nah, he's not. He'll be one of the ones that didn't make a deal.
Who? Tony Stark? You think so?
Stark, yeah.
Maybe his dad made a deal.
Yeah. Maybe.
All right. Have you watched Andor at all?
I have, yes. I saw that before I went.
What'd you think of that?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I did, yeah. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good prequel to Rogue One.
I thought it sucked.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree.
I thought the first season. Okay, so let me bring this up. Now we have something on the screen. Andor showrunner rejects future Disney deal following season 2 success. Andor creator Tony Gilroy reportedly turned down a big opportunity at Disney. Now, I thought season 1 was good. I thought season 2 faltered. Like it would build up and it would it'd start to get good, and then there'd be a time jump, right? And then they'd basically have to reset the story.
Right, but if you remember when we were watching season 1, the intention for them was they were going to do a season. You know, with those time jumps, that was supposed to be a single season every time.
Yeah, I understood that. I understand why. That doesn't, just because they go, hey, I didn't wash my hands because they turned the water off in my house. I go, okay, I understand why, but why? I still don't want you to make my food with dirty hands, right? Like, I get why they did it. It went from 5 seasons to 2 seasons, and then they just time crunched everything into that second season. I get that.
Obviously,
but that doesn't make it a good show.
Yeah, well, that bothered you, but it didn't bother me. The time jump didn't bother me that much.
It wasn't like
when they made
it didn't bother me. Like what I'm saying is like you would get a story, right, and it would get interesting, and then right when it got interesting, then it would just stop and go to something else. So it's like I was building up, like, okay, he stole the prototype TIE fighter, and you're like, okay, this is interesting, and then just time jumped and nothing else came back. Like nothing came from that. Like so what was the point? Like it's just like a bunch of things happen, and then it just skips, and they're never referenced. It's never brought up again. It's just like, oh, things happen, and now it's a year later. Things happen, now it's a year later. Things happen, now it's a year later. It's like, oh.
Well, they were all.
You could just watch the last 4 episodes, and you would get the same thing out of the show because the first 8 have no bearing on the rest of the show.
How many episodes was it total?
I think it was 12.
So it was 3 per arc, right? It was
something like that.
Yeah, I thought the 3 episode arcs were decent. They were self-contained enough. Enough was explained to you where you didn't feel like you'd missed out on details. And anyway, when it jumped time, they did reference stuff from the previous arcs. Not always, but
I would have love Andor. Andor plus Rogue One equals best trilogy. Like I said, maybe it's because I want more. Like you got those couple of episodes and okay, this is interesting, and then it just stopped, and they're like, oh, I wanted that. That was interesting. Okay, here's something else. Okay, that's interesting, and then it just stops. I'm like, but I want more of that. That's good. That was interesting.
Well, that is good. Well, let me ask you this: was there anything in, not so much the first season of it, but this season that bothered you about it tying up with the wider Star Wars universe?
Not really, because obviously you knew that most of the characters were either going to die. The ones that aren't mentioned in the future Star Wars, that guy's going to probably die, and that guy's going to die, and that guy's going to, something has to happen to all these characters that they're not in the New Hope or Rogue One, right?
Not as many of them died as I thought was gonna. There was some people left over at Yavin, the base at Yavin, that you never see again, but they're there, or they remain there.
They're just like nobodies. They're just background.
Yeah.
Like the commanding officer and the couple of guys, but him, what makes no sense to me. He's pretty important to the Star Wars mythos, right? To
which
he
guy
never gets a mention. The main guy, Andor, Cassian Andor.
Yeah,
he saved Mon Mothma. He saved what's her name, the chick at the end that told him about the Death Star being constructed, right? He ran a whole bunch of missions that basically helped funded the rebellion. And then he doesn't exist as far as Star Wars is concerned, in A New Hope, he doesn't exist. No one mentioned him. I was like, man, if only we had Cassian here, then we would definitely do it. Or when Luke's gonna run at the Death Star, it's I don't know. Cassian could have made it. I'm not sure if that Luke guy could. There's nothing because he didn't exist prior to Andor, obviously, right? So it's it makes a big hole in this universe.
But you can argue the same for In A New Hope. You don't get a mention of Mon Mothma.
Yeah,
she
you do.
Show up until Jedi.
Yeah, well, she shows up in Jedi, so eventually she does show up in the original trilogy.
But you would think that she'd be there for the big, the big briefing scene in New Hope.
You would think
or
so.
somebody would mention it. Like she was there for Rogue One, all the way through Rogue One. Well, all the way through Andor, all the way through Rogue One, and then disappears for 2 movies before she shows up in Jedi.
Yeah. What I didn't get with Mon Mothma, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, right? But as far as I know, she's just a senator, right?
Yeah.
They're like, we gotta get her back to Yavin so she could help lead the rebellion. I'm going, but she's just a senator, right? Like, if let's say we were gonna like rebel against the U.S., I'd be like, hey, we gotta make sure we get AOC to the base so she could lead us. I'm like, no, like she's just a fucking senator. I want the guy who's like the army guy. Make sure he gets back to the base, right? Like the army guy that's defecting. Let's get him. We don't need a senator. Like, oh, you're great. You did a speech and you got a bunch of people excited. That's cool. But now we don't need you anymore, right? Like you're not useful to the rebellion. Like, hey, we need to discuss strategy for infiltrating the base. Let's ask this senator lady who's never fought in a war. What do you think we should do, senator lady? Like, I always thought that was stupid.
Well, I think
like her being there as like a symbol, or like you just
yeah.
sit in the corner and you just look pretty and you just like you wave to the troops and go, yeah, I'm a former senator who has your back. Like that's fine, but like actually involving her in like the planning and like making decisions, I think that was kind of retarded.
Well, they were making a big deal out of the speeches she made because she was able to turn the tide of public opinion against the Empire. She did that. That was brought up in Rebels, and then
yeah,
also
well, I'm saying like that's fine. Like you have her there, like in the corner. She makes speeches. She rallies the troops. She's like good for morale. But when they're behind the scenes, like making decisions, she shouldn't be in there going, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this and attack this. Like they showed her like she was there, like talking to Saul Guerrero and everything, like, oh, you better stop attacking those things. Like he's like, who the fuck are you? Like I'm the army guy who's like out here putting in work. You're just some fucking rich bitch who didn't do shit. You don't even know what the fuck is going on. You don't know how to fire a fucking blaster, and you're gonna tell me how to fucking run a fight.
Well, you're talking about a movie series where they pluck a boy off of a farm and send him to the Death Star to blow it up. So
yeah, but he's the son of Jesus. He's the son of Space Jesus, so it makes sense.
Space Jesus. Because everybody
that's how
that,
you
right?
get cartels, Lamal. Get the army guy. Mexico did that and ended up bad. You don't know where I am at. Mephisto. He was pretty good in that. I'll give you that. He's like all like huffed up.
Yeah, he was good.
Ass is inside me, and I love it. I'm like, Malik says it's white woman magic.
You can always count on Forrest Whitaker for a good performance, man.
Yeah, he was good as being paranoid, but like he was like he's not wrong, and a lot of the things he said, you could kind of go, yeah, he's not really wrong. Like if he lets that guy go, like that could expose them, right? Like he doesn't know who he could trust. They're in a very precarious situation where like one wrong move and like the whole fucking base gets fucking raided by the Empire, right?
Yeah. I like how this Rogue One in this show made the rebellion a lot more dirty.
Yeah.
Than the movies made it sound. You know what I mean? Like Andor in Rogue One, Andor kills a guy right off the bat, like first scene you see him in.
Well, that's the guy that they reference at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the guy's
in the show.
That's what I mean. I love how it tied it together like that. It was great.
Saw Gerrera is so good that people want to join his crew, not knowing that Saw is the Warhammer 40K of Star Wars. Yeah. So, like I said, it wasn't that it was a bad show. It was that it was like, it was good, and then it kept resetting, right? It's like, oh, it's getting really good, and then, oh, reset. Oh, it's getting really good. Oh, reset. Oh, it's getting really good. Oh, reset. I didn't like the thing at the end. If you're going to show this, the spoilers, if you haven't seen Andor, right? But if you're going to show his girlfriend with a baby at the end,
yeah.
And I was like, well, hopefully she goes, shh, it's going to be okay, baby Poe. I was like, that would make sense. Like, oh, Poe Dameron is really his son, right? Like, make a connection. Like, well, just some random baby and some lady that never shows up. Don't worry, your kid's alive somewhere, Andor, that you never see him and he's never mentioned, and he's just like a nobody kid that exists in some backwards farm world, right? Like,
he's never been mentioned, but it opens up doors for the future for them to mention him. And
I mean, they kind of said that Andor has the Force. He's like Force sensitive or something, right?
What you mean from that woman, the clairvoyant woman? That
yeah, she said that he had something special about him.
No,
remember he kept saying he had good luck. Right?
I think
remember he's like always lucky.
I think it's more that she was just reading the future, that he was going to steal the plans and then die on Scarif.
Well, yeah, well, but she also says
think
like
that's anything to
he
do
has
with
the
him
force and it worked better on him than most people, and that there was she could sense him before he even got there. Like,
That's it's because his aura was more strong than
yeah,
most
but you
people.
say aura, but that's just the force.
But
There's no
if you
such thing as
listen to
aura. He didn't
if you
have
listen
Riz.
to-
She's like, oh man, your Riz was so good that I fucking saw you walk in.
But if you listen to Qui-Gon Jinn's speech in Phantom Menace, he says that the midichlorians are in everybody. So everybody's got some degree of force
Yeah,
sensitivity.
that's what I'm saying. I think he had more. That's why they're like saying that he was really lucky. I think that was like supposed to be like the force was giving him, because they said the same thing about Han Solo, that he was like force sensitive. That's why he was able to do stuff.
Uh-huh.
Cass's robot was the true baby boy. The robot was cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like the robot.
Cosmic says more baby merch for Disney. Like I said, I think they should have like name dropping the baby would have been good. I would have liked that. And I think at the very end, where I think they dropped the ball, right, is I think the show should have ended with him recording the show, right? So we watched the show, and so we saw all the events and blah blah blah, right? But then it should have been like when they had that montage at the end. You remember where they're like showing people like it was just music and there was no fucking words. I think during that scene, they should have been a voiceover from fucking Cassian Andor, basically saying, talking about all the people and everything, and then you would get a shot of him on his ship right before Rogue One started. Like basically, he'd been recording this whole thing, so that way, if anything goes wrong, people will know I exist. They'll know about Bix. They'll know about what happened on Ferrix and all this, because remember that was a big thing in the show, was like things happening and just getting swept under the rug, and like history being written by the people who won, and the truth not being out there. So him ending the show with him recording the truth and it being ready to go, like you would see like, oh man, he dies in Rogue One, but his story will be told at some point because he recorded it and those recordings are out there.
Here's the location. Here's the location of my girlfriend and my baby. Yeah. In case anybody finds this black box.
Kaz hit her Jedi G-spot. She never felt it before. So yeah, like I said, I think they it felt a little rushed, and it felt like stories were ending before they had a real proper chance to get going.
It did, but when they announced this series way back before it came out, it was one of the ones I was least looking forward to, because I thought that guy was in one movie and died. What could they possibly make a show about? But it wasn't really about just him. It was the wider rebellion, which they touched on in Rebels, but they didn't go as deep as this one did.
Luthen was pretty good character.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think they, I don't know, I don't want to say drop the ball, but I think they should have had the Luthen, and I forget what the hell that chick's name. His assistant, whatever. His
I can't remember her name. Yeah.
When they didn't give you that backstory to like the last fucking episode almost, right? Like I think it was like
it got its own episode though, didn't it?
Yeah, but I think that should have been a lot sooner. And I think that should have been interspersed within the series.
Yeah.
Right? Because through the whole thing, you don't know who he is. He's just like, he's presented as like, oh, just some rich antique dealer that's helping the rebellion, right? And so you're like, oh, he's an asshole, but like you kind of agree with him, but you don't know if you really should, because you don't have any context for what he's going through, right? But I think if you would have seen before like glimpses of his life and what they went through, you're like, oh, so this guy was on the Empire. He committed a bunch of atrocities. He figured out that the Empire is evil, and now he's dedicating his life to correcting the mistakes that he's made in the past and helping that chick get her revenge by taking the Empire down in this fucking long con. Because obviously, if he's an antique dealer, he's been doing it, and he's famous, and people know him. This has been a long fucking con, right? Because she was she had to be at least, I want to say 10 when he found her, and she's like a grown fucking woman. So it had to be at least fucking 10, 20 years that they've been fucking running this con.
Well,
like he built the rebellion from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah, and there was a flashback to when they were on Naboo, so it's kind of putting that in the prequels time frame, right?
Yeah, never let the grooming Jedi take your children. 56 says it was fine having his background at the end.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I wouldn't have wanted that all be chopped up and sprinkled all over the series. I'm glad they just did it in one episode. I would have rather they did it a bit sooner though, not like second or third from the last episode.
I think it was too. It took too long to get to it.
Yeah, should have did it earlier, but they should have. I don't mind them doing it in a big one and done.
You could have kicked off the show with it. But see, the thing is, it's Andor, right? I think that's the other problem that I had with the show. It is like, we're going to show you Andor, but also here's like a whole episode dedicated to Mon Mothma. Here's a whole episode dedicated to like everyone but fucking Andor, right? It's like,
I mean, it wasn't as bad as Book of Boba Fett. Let's be honest.
no, but
When
I
it just
mean,
became the Mandalorian.
for 2 episodes, it's just completely the Mandalorian. Yeah, but it got pretty close to that territory because it's like because again, you had to introduce you had Andor, right? And then he started doing stuff. So you're like, okay, we have to introduce these other characters that he's going to interact with for these like next 3 or 4 episodes. And then they're gone. And then like, okay, here's some more characters we have to introduce because they interact with these 3 or 4 episodes, and then they're gone. And then there's more like, so they kept introducing characters and giving you like their little relevancy and you know, filling in the blanks on those people. So again, I think it threw off the pacing. I think if they would have just committed to the 5 seasons like they wanted to, it would have been better fleshed out and a better paced series.
Yeah, it
wasn't horrible.
Yeah,
I know I started off by saying it was horrible, but it wasn't horrible. Just it didn't live
you
up
just
to
expected more of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it again because we're going to go away. A buddy of mine is a big Star Wars fan, and I forced he hated the sequels, and I forced him to watch episode 9, and it kind of killed his interest in the thing. But we watched Andor season 1, and he liked that, so we're going to watch season 2 before we fuck off again, in case we don't come back.
56K says the best meme that came out of Andor is the Sopranos reference. In this house, Lonnie Young was a hero, a real Italian hero. Yeah, I expected that guy to get shot when he got killed at the end by fucking Luthen. I was like, yeah, he's dead. I was like, he's gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah,
but he was ruthless. He was ruthless. It was good. All right, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I'm going to invite you guys if you want to come play Celebrity Butt Challenge. If we don't get at least 2 people, we can't play, Finbar.
Yeah.
Can't play with just you.
Can't just play with myself.
Yeah. So we'll go over an article or 2, and then we'll circle back around and see if anyone signed up for this bad boy. All right. Let's see. All right. So, Stop Killing Games. That's in your neck of the woods. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, the thing about keeping online games going. Right.
Well, Stop Killing Games surges past its goals, but a possible signature spoofing campaign could cause trouble. This is not a change.org petition. This is a government process. So you guys who decided to fuck around are about to find out.
While you're reading this, I'm going to take a piss.
Why do people do this? Yeah. So if you weren't aware, Finbar is going to be back, but if you're watching this and you weren't aware, they were having a lot of trouble getting signatures up until a couple of days ago. Excuse me. Up until a couple of days ago, they were below 500,000, right? And then suddenly in the last couple of days, they've surged past 1 million. It's really weird that would happen, right? And so obviously there's been some fuckery afoot. Initiative founder Ross Scott says he's, quote, in a complete fog about how many signatures the Stop Killing Games petition really have. Less than 2 weeks ago, it looked like the Stop Killing Games initiative was in trouble. Founder Ross Scott said the deadline for petition filed in the EU and UK were rapidly approaching, but both were still far from the number of signatures required to take them to the next step. The situation has changed dramatically in the brief period since, though. Scott's warning earned attention, interest, and a pile of signatures, and both petitions have now passed their targets. But there's a problem. The UK petition crossed the finish line first, amassing 100,000 signatures required to mandate a consideration for debate in Parliament. The UK government had previously responded to the petition in May when it surpassed 10,000 signatures, essentially saying that existing laws are adequate, rejecting the petition's demand for more stringent regulations. But that response was issued by the UK's Department of Culture, Media and Sport and would have no bearing on any parliamentary action. It's undeniably good news, but Scott told PC Gamer he had no idea how the parliamentary debate will ultimately turn out, and said he's far more optimistic about the European Citizens Initiative if we can get enough signatures. And now it has. That petition surpassed 1 million signatures earlier today, which essentially obligates the European Commission to examine and take some sort of action on it. The problem is that the million signatures on the EU petition may not actually be a million signatures. There are two reasons for this. Mistakes, which are unintentional but inevitable, will be discarded. And more worryingly, a potential spoofing campaign that can be flooding the petition with fake signatures. Scott told PC Gamer that he'd been sent screenshots of spoofing campaigns from sources including 4chan and Discord. It could just be talk, but it puts us more on guard. Guys, why would you do this? So people that locked a 12-year-old in prison from a Mexican Xbox message for a mean Xbox message will be writing global policy in gaming. Yeah.
So people are fucking up the petition by using Chinese bot farms to sign it.
Essentially, yeah.
What we're saying? Yeah, good job, dickheads.
Scott made similar claims in a new video released today and warned people not to do it, regardless of their motivation. First off, I want to say that this is not a change.org petition. This is a government process. Spoofing signatures on it is a crime. Please do not do this. Could you imagine if some idiots go to jail for this?
Good. I think they should be, in prison for life.
For spoofing signatures?
Yeah.
Says, how likely is it that anyone would be prosecuted for spoofing on a European Commission petition is anyone's guess. I think it's pretty good with the European people putting people away for mean tweets and shit like that, right?
Now that's the British government.
British, UK, European, same thing. But Scott noted that cooperation between Interpol and the FBI is pretty common, and that Europe takes its political process pretty seriously. Someone chucking on one or two fake signatures may not be at risk, but someone running a bot farm to flood it with thousands of them may be an entirely different matter. The more immediate problem, Scott said, is that he's in a complete fog about where the EU petition really stands. He thinks there's at least 600,000 legitimate signatures, maybe 700,000. But it's also possible that a sophisticated botnet has inflated the number of fake signatures far beyond his estimates. I think that's the case. He went from 100,000 signatures to 1 million. They were scared that it was basically dead in the water. Like we're 2 weeks away. We're not going to get our signatures. And then suddenly they have 1 million. It doesn't look good.
Been buying votes, man.
Yeah, spoof signatures won't invalidate the campaign. Legit SIGs will still be counted, but the risk is that potential supporters will see the campaign has exceeded its required target and not bother adding their name to it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that if the lawmakers, here's the thing, right? They could still be obligated to look at the petition because of, well, we can't really say they're fake signatures, right? But if the people who are not robots go, yeah, but we're pretty sure those are fake, and we're just not going to listen to them because fuck them, we're the lawmakers. That's a pretty good thing that could happen, right?
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. If you see a lot of signatures on it, you'll want to add your name to it to make it even more massive, right?
No, I'm talking about as far as like the lawmakers when they go to like do legislation on it, when they go to debate it, right? If they go, hey, turns out that this is probably not 1 million people. They go, oh, so there's not as many people upset about this as we thought? Fuck it. Who cares, right? I think that's going to kill it. When they go, oh, so there's only actually 600,000, not 1 million. They couldn't even get 1 million people to legitimately sign this? Fuck them.
This is kind of a stupid fucking thing that they're complaining about anyway, that they want to force companies to keep games online.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
it's
that,
ever
we
done
actually have the response from some companies about that.
Is it more along the lines of "go fuck yourselves"?
Pretty much. And don't forget, guys, click the link. Come play a Celebrity Butt Challenge. We got some good butts this week. That says European Game Publisher Group responds to Stop Killing Games claims these proposals would curtail developer choice. Now, Video Games Europe voices opposition to Stop Killing Games movement as it clears threshold to become EU Citizens Initiative. So yeah, I think this will 100% either make it so games are not online in Europe. Like Europe will just be no longer given any online games, right? Because obviously, Overwatch and all those big games are not going to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be always online forever because the EU. They're just gonna be like, oh fuck you, we'll just cut you out, right? We'll just remove you from the landscape.
Yeah. You wanted online games forever? How about no games? Fuck you. That's what they'll say. Yes.
Yes. Sign a new petition to reverse the thing that you fucked up.
Like Brexit.
Yeah. Video Games Europe said in its statement, "We appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. We understand that it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with local consumer protection laws. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players, as the protections we put in place to secure player data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. In addition, many titles are designed from the ground up to be online only. In effect, these proposals would curtail developer choice by making these video games prohibitively expensive to create." And that's what I've been saying, that exact thing. It's almost like these game companies are parroting what I've told them.
What's a common sense?
USB-C is because of EU.
That's true.
EU
Yeah,
is the place to get corporations to do something. Yeah, but I think this is beyond that, because
this is bullshit. But the USB-C thing was good.
Well, the USB-C thing is different because when it comes to that, it's just easier to comply. When it comes to this, the amount of money it's going to cost them versus the amount of money that they're going to lose not doing it, I think it's completely different. Especially when you got like China, Japan are the big, Korea, right? Those are your big online game places where they're making all the money from.
Yeah,
we talked about if Europe was the number one. What's up?
We said that it would. Well, I mean, I suggested that they give the running of the server to super fans who want to keep the game alive and have them run a private server.
Yeah, but they said they can't really do that all the time because
there's some games you couldn't really do it for though.
No, they said you basically can't do it for any games.
Not officially, no, you couldn't.
Well, what they said in their statement was essentially like, let's say that World of Warcraft goes offline, and then Blizzard gives it to Aaron, right? Aaron, here you go. Run some private servers.
It'll be fucked then, wouldn't it?
No, and so Aaron's running the private servers, everything's good, but then customer data gets stolen because Aaron's security is lax. Well, Blizzard would still be liable for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the problem, is the liability issue, right? That's why they have to shut it down. We've basically wiped our hands. We've washed our hands of this completely. It's shut down, right?
Yeah.
Now, at best, what they could do is turn a blind eye to like, oh, Aaron has somehow resurrected the game, and we're going to pretend like we don't know that exists, right? But I think any acknowledgement or any handing off of it, they still become liable. Then, of course, there's the issue with like if they Marvel, for example, right? Crystal Dynamics might only have a 10-year license, right? And so the game goes down, so they didn't renew the license, obviously. Now you're running a Marvel Avengers server, but you don't have a license for that, so Marvel can sue you, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're not taking profit for it and you're not editing the code from what it originally was, I think there's ways around it.
No, I'm pretty sure, like, theoretically, technically, if you draw a picture, let's say you draw a picture of Spider-Man, right? Fan art, and you sell it, or you even promote it, or you put it on your thing, technically,
Oh, yeah, they can sue you.
they can sue you.
Yeah.
Like they don't. Like that's why, like when they blocked from putting the Spider-Man on that one tombstone, remember? On that kid's grave.
Did they?
Yeah. Because technically, it's their IP, and they could. We don't want it on a tombstone, right? Like
They sent that Specky Simpson's lawyer out with his briefcase.
Yeah.
You're infringing on Stan Lee's IP.
56 says you can, lol. WoW Classic is from private server. You can, but that's why I said it's not always. Things have to be put in place. There has to be safeguards. There has to be other things. The WoW Classics on private servers do have some involvement in security measures from Blizzard.
Well, WoW Classic is run by Blizzard now.
Yeah.
When it was on a private server, it wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like they went in there and they said, no, you can't do this. Like we'll take care of it. We'll handle it ourselves. It says, we welcome the opportunity to discuss our position with policymakers and those who have led the European Citizens Initiative in coming months. Video Games Europe's case is that it can be too expensive for developers and publishers to offer private servers or single-player modes in games that lose online multiplayer support, and that open or fan-supported versions of these games could present legal liabilities for companies, particularly when it comes to cybersecurity and content moderation. Also, here's the other thing. There's a public perception that you guys have to understand, right? So in the case of WoW, we all know that Blizzard runs WoW, right? Now, let's say that Blizzard, they shut down WoW. WoW shut down. And then, like I said, Aaron is now running the WoW servers, right? When it comes to boomers and stuff like that, to them, WoW is Blizzard, right? Now, let's say that somebody starts an online relationship in World of Warcraft on the new private servers, then goes across the country and murders this fucking chick, right? The news will be like, wow, killer, guy who played WoW murders fucking online girlfriend, right? And then Blizzard will take the fucking the hit publicly, right? Even though, like, oh, we don't run the servers, like we've shut down WoW. Like the public perception is Blizzard is WoW, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the other thing that you got to think about, right? There's a public association between these companies and their product in a lot of cases, and if they hand it over and shit happens, shit hits the fan, they're going to have to suffer the public backlash, even if it has nothing to do with them, right?
Yeah.
That's why if I ever go on a murder spree, I'm going to be wearing an Amico shirt, a Rippaverse hat, and Tommy Tellerico pants, just so that way whenever there's online coverage of it, it'll mention those items specifically. Guy in Rippaverse hat kills a bunch of people at comic conventions.
Their internet history, and they'll go, yeah, this guy was clearly obsessed.
Yeah.
He made several threats to these people. Ruined one of their lives.
The other side of that coin, as the Stop Killing Games movement points out, is that players are paying for these games. They don't usually get their money back if the game is shut down. So they're effectively paying for a product that's taken away from them.
Yeah. What was that one that came out on PS5 that got shut down after a week?
Concord?
Concord.
Yeah, but that was free to play. I don't think anyone
was free to play, was it? Right.
Was it free? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe there was physical copies.
I never bought it. I never get on board with games at the ground floor. It's never a good idea. You should always wait and see what happens.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, if I eat a burger, I pay for a burger and then I eat it, the burger's gone, and I get my money back.
Yeah.
If I leave the burger out and it rots, I don't get my money back.
Yeah, but it wasn't $80.
Oh, so that matters is how much it costs. I don't know. You unless you're an idiot, you understand that there's a possibility that this game is going to go away.
Well, they put it in the terms of service in every game now. If you have actually sat and read all that fucking shit that you're clicking to say you agree with, in there it says it's licensing it to you. It's not even saying you're buying it, especially when you're downloading it now.
Yeah.
You know, you're not even owning it physically.
Well, it says, of course, Developers and publishers will argue players aren't buying a product, but a license to access the game. But that's not how many players look at it. Well, many players are retarded.
They're going to have to fucking change the way they think then, start thinking like that, because that's exactly how it is. You're just talking about bricking a console.
Yeah.
So if they can do that to you, then you don't own anything.
As the official Stop Killing Games website explains, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date, but designed to be completely unplayable as soon as the support from the publisher ends. Oh, so as long as they put an expiration date, they go, hey, this will expire in 30 days. And then anything after 30 days, it's just bonus, right?
Well, any game that's online only, you should know that that's going to end eventually, right?
Yeah. People get mad when I say this, right? Because it's like you should know this. You should know better. Expecting some online game to be there forever, right? Come on.
Yeah, thinking that they care about you enough that they're going to keep your server online just for you and about 5 other people who still play it, that it's pie in the sky.
Yeah.
They've got their money, all the money they're going to get out of you.
Yeah, exactly. It sucks.
I would expect things like for the Final Fantasy remake or whatever, like a single player game. Yeah, you could have access to that forever, but don't think you're going to have access to World of Warcraft forever.
No, even that, like even my PlayStation games, right? I understand that if, let's say right now, there's a fucking a nuclear explosion in fucking California, the Sony servers just get fucking melted, right? Uh-huh. I understand that all my games could be lost, right? Or Sony goes fucking completely bankrupt, right? There's a scandal. Turns out they were fucking stealing money from the company, and they go completely belly up. I understand that all my online stuff, all the things that I've paid for that digitally can just go away.
That you haven't yet downloaded.
I'd be pissed. I'd be like, fuck, that sucks. But I understand it. I know that's a possibility. There's a difference between them doing it like on purpose. They go, hey, I hate Tony. I'm gonna like take away his games. That shouldn't be allowed. But we're like, hey, the company went bankrupt. Like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but I get it.
But single player games that you've already downloaded, they should be there forever.
No, because if the server goes out, if the system goes down and I can't download them anymore, because you can't fit them all into
I mean, the ones you've already downloaded, you should expect to be able to access them forever.
Yeah, as long as you don't delete them, you'll be able. Stray Bean says exactly. Expecting Diablo 2 to be there forever is a bad idea. TMN.
Isn't that the game he plays for like 11 hours straight every day? Yeah,
that's why I said that. Says regardless of what video game Europe has to say on the movement, it's clearly gaining popularity with gamers after garnering 1 million signatures for its EU petition. Well, they said this practice is a form of planned obsolescence and is not only detrimental to customers but makes preservation effectively impossible. I love how they always throw in this preservation thing, like it's the biggest bullshit ever. You don't care about preserving games; you care about being able to play your games. The idea that you want it to be preserved. Again, when I go to a museum, they preserve things. I'm not allowed to touch the things in the museum. I'm not allowed to take them home or play with them, right? If you just want, like, there's the code, like, hey, you just walk into a museum, you go, there's the code for Marvel Avengers Online right there on that fucking thumb drive. But that's not what you want. You want to be able to play the game, right?
Yeah. And these fucks that are complaining about this are the ones that will not bother playing it when it gets preserved as well. They'll just be like, oh, the fact that I can get to it if I want to is good, but I don't really want to play it right now. Where we've got like a company paying to keep a server open for nobody that wants to play it.
Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I mean, we and you take it from a common sense standpoint, not a fucking greedy, child view like everybody else does. Because we're all
right. Looks like there's going to be no butt challenge this week.
We'll put a pin in it and we'll do it when TJ and Atoy and that are back. And because I don't think we're getting
piracy is the preservation fix. Always has been. No, it's not. Piracy is not the preservation fix. I'm tired of this argument.
Not for online games.
It's not for anything. Piracy is never about preservation. It's about I want to play this thing because I'm entitled to it, because I feel like it. Again, if it was about preservation, you wouldn't be complaining that you don't have access to it. You wouldn't be complaining that Finbar can't play the game. You would just be like, hey, we just want the code to exist somewhere on a fucking server. And then if at any point, like, here's an Activision game, and if any point Activision decides they want to bring it back, well, we have the code for you, Activision. Here you go. You can release it again, right? That's preservation, preserving. You don't want to preserve. You want to play. Yeah. Playing games is why you do piracy.
You want to play after you've stolen.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't have an issue with that. Just be honest, right? Be honest about what you're doing, right? You don't steal a candy bar so you can preserve it. You steal it to eat it, right? You stole that movie. You pirated it. I don't want to say you stole because I didn't take a physical copy of it. You pirated that movie, not because you want to preserve it. You don't have like a big server at your house, right? A big fucking portable hard drive. Go, here's all the movies. I don't watch them. I just have them to preserve for future generations. No, you want to watch them. That's why you pirated it, because you want to watch that movie. You don't want to pay for it. You just want to watch it.
Don't steal. Stealing's wrong.
Yeah.
Do you want to see my emulator folder?
But you, again, like, you're honest. You're like, I fucking emulated these because I want to play them. You're not like this, like, right? Oh, I'm such a good fucking human that I'm preserving these games for future generations. Wink, wink. No, stop. Just don't lie. That's what it is. Like, just
no. I've stolen them because I either missed them on the first go round, or I want to just be able to play them whenever I want.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I used to emulate. When I was like, oh man, I there's a whole bunch of Game Boy games that I never got a chance to play. Well, okay, I can emulate them. Right? I've done that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have this like ideal that I'm like this good human being preserving games. Like, oh, this is for game preservation. No, this is for selfishness. I want to play this game and I don't want to go out and buy it. There's also the abandonware argument. No, there's not, because abandonware literally it's legal to emulate it. That's why it's called abandonware.
Until, because there are some things that were abandonware that then get re-released or repackaged, especially when Steam came around, and then they no longer became abandonware. So there is a bit of a grey area there as well.
I don't think so. I think the re-release stuff you're not allowed to, but technically the original, it's like some
of the re-releases, I mean, that they've released it exactly as was.
Doesn't matter. It's like, okay, let me give you an example. There's 4 episodes of the Three Stooges that are not copyrighted. Okay, 4 episodes. You could release them. You could make your own version. Finbar's presents the Three Stooges, right? And release a 4-episode DVD set, right? Now, just because Universal or some major company releases those 4 doesn't mean that they own the copyright. If it's abandonware, by essence, they have abandoned the copyright. Just because the original copyright holder then re-releases the game, that does not give them back the copyright. They've abandoned it. They've officially.
Yeah, but you can see real-world examples on abandonware websites where the game.
No, I think that's because people don't challenge it. I think, again, there's a difference between.
That's what I mean. They've been told to take it down. You can see it. Whether they're legally able to tell them to take it down or not is not the point. What I'm saying is, like, there's a legal grey area there because they haven't fought it.
Well, yeah. Well, if you don't fight it, then obviously, if you just give in and you don't know your rights, then yeah. Well, it's like with the Mickey Mouse argument. Remember, we had George on here, and he's like, "Well, look, if you look at in the original Mickey Mouse at the opening, he's wearing this, that, and the other. So technically, you could use this outfit too for Mickey Mouse once it becomes public domain, right?"
Yeah.
Transylvania Jack says there are legit game archives that share abandonware. Also, Forbidden Rune, exactly. Damn you, TJ. TJ's in the chat, not on the panel. All right. You think Sega's going to come back?
I hope so. Are you talking about with a console?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Well, with Xbox moving away from the console market, Sega coming in, that'd be pretty sweet.
I just wish that thing had happened all those years ago where they'd branded Xboxes Sega. That'd have been cool.
Well, they could not. I was just going to say, could you imagine if Sega and Microsoft work out a deal? Because Sega has a huge amount of IPs, right? Beloved IPs.
Yeah.
that could you imagine now Xbox exclusives, right? Streets of Rage, a new Streets of Rage exclusive to Xbox, a new fucking Phantasy Star, Sonic, Shinobi, like that would be fucking. That would turn. I think that would turn the tide for the next console launch.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: despite what Potion Run, I love you, Potion Run, but you are so fucking like off base with your takes on this, right? I watch his videos all the time, but he's so fucking like you come at it from like what is best from the consumers. Like it'd be good for me if these games were just on all the consoles all the time, right? I could buy either one. Yeah, that works for you and it works for the consumer, but it doesn't work for Sony. Sony doesn't want their games on all the consoles because why are they making a console? What incentive would they have, right? If all the Sony games are on Microsoft and all the Microsoft games are on Sony, then instead of Sony winning 10-1 in the console wars, they would be more or less even. So Sony's going to lose market share for what? What benefit does that do for them, Finbar?
Well, none.
None. Because again, if they're winning 10-1, right? They're dominating the consoles. That means that most of the people
he wants in. He wants to come in.
I didn't even know he was in the chat. He's out there fucking lurking. All right, there you go. Now there's the link. We'll let you come in.
I hear you talking about Xbox.
Let's read this while we're waiting for. Isn't it like when I talk about Vito, suddenly Vito's like, "Wait a minute, I'm in the chat." There he is. We're waiting for.
Welcome.
Isn't it like when I talk about Vito, suddenly Vito's like, "Wait a minute, I'm in the chat."
Now I'm gonna speak for myself. Okay.
We're waiting for.
Now.
Okay. Isn't it like when I talk about Vito, suddenly Vito's like,
"Calm it down, man."
I'm gonna speak for myself.
Potion, you gotta turn the YouTube off.
Fucking amateur hour here, man.
Potion.
Okay, sorry. I had the other screen open right now. Okay, so I've come to a realization that Xbox, the one that I love, is no more. Okay, so let's get that out in the open. Now, the reason why I think these games benefit to put them on Xbox, obviously, is because when it comes to Helldivers 2, it's a live service game. And the more people you have on a live service game, the better it is for the game. So it just makes sense to put all of their live service games, even like I said, Marvel's Token, if it's going to be like live service-ish, on there, just because you need a bigger player base right now, because the games are hardly even selling on PlayStation to begin with. Like they're first-party games, no one buys them. They're barely even break even, and that's why they're struggling. So that's why I think that putting their games right now on Xbox, even though Xbox is dying, is their last generation of making the Xbox console. The next generation, we'll see what they make, even if it might be Xbox, it's like their last one. So, but I mean, right now it just benefits Sony. Like there's no drawback to it. Xbox is leaving; they're leaving the market. So might as well just use them while you can. Take their player base and then bring them over to PlayStation when you can. They're not going to go now because they have an expensive ass console that they want to use, Xbox. But eventually, maybe next generation, like someone like me, it just might entice them to come over because now we have a taste of PlayStation games. That's pretty much it. So it
I bought that
short term.
I will
in the long term.
I think that's a not a viable strategy because again, if you start putting it,
what's the loss? What's the bad about?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go through it. So if at launch, are you saying the games at launch should go on both consoles, or eventually they should go on?
Like the old games right now, like God of War that no one's buying anymore, Spider-Man that no one's buying anymore, Ratchet and Clank that no one's buying anymore. I mean, just get more sales of it. If the development cost ain't gonna be that much, and you're gonna get the sales, might as well just do it, and you'll invite Xbox players into the PlayStation ecosystem to get a taste of the first-party games. And then next generation, they're like, it'll be easier just to buy a PlayStation. I'm gonna buy the Xbox game. No, I have my Xbox games on there because they're gonna publish on PlayStation, and it's just like a way to get in, like you're sharing the drugs right now, and then you can get them hooked, and then you go to the supplier next time instead of getting it secondhand from Xbox.
Yeah, nobody's going to just abandon the PlayStation and go to Xbox because some PlayStation games appeared on an Xbox.
Maybe not right now, but next generation, it makes more sense to do it. Especially those who have Xbox right now.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, like if you don't have a PlayStation, I mean, I have one, so whatever, it doesn't make sense to me. But if I didn't have one, and then they gave me a little bit of their little taste of their drugs, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, I mean, why get an Xbox if I could just get a PlayStation? I have all their stuff. Supposedly, PlayStation's an Xbox too now, so I'll have my Xbox games on there. Just makes sense. So I don't see a drawback for PlayStation at all. It's just disappointing to see what Xbox has become.
I bought that thing ages ago, that Series X, and then when you turn it off, the fan still spins. So I've unplugged it from the wall now. And it's been like that for a month.
You probably got a reject one or something, but mine's fine.
Yours is defective.
Mine was overheating when I was playing certain games, and it turns out it was just me. I opened the back, and you look to the back, and you can see the heat sink, and it was just full of dust. And I'm like, oh shit, that's just me being a dirty ass. So I ended up cleaning it, and it's silent again. So I mean, maybe you need to clean it. Like I didn't think I was dirty because I'm out in the open, you know. But it just over like the 5 years
Dude,
that I had,
I just cleaned my fucking PC. It was a huge fucking. It was like a fucking lamb.
Yeah, like dust bunnies and shit. I'm like, what the? No wonder it's making noise.
But I don't think it would benefit them because again, the idea is that Sony needs to crush
start out and wait and just come and get it because you want it.
It needs to crush fucking Xbox. Okay? Crush it into the dust. No, because if you put any hope, if you give them those games, right? Again, you're going to put it on Xbox. Xbox is going to get some money from that. They obviously going to Xbox isn't say, "Hey, go fucking put it on our console for free." There's going to be a charge for it, right?
Xbox is very profitable. Microsoft is the most profitable company in the world, so it doesn't matter if you give them a little bit of money or more money. They're going to make their money no matter what. I mean,
no, see, this is where you're wrong because again, it's divisions. There's divisions within Microsoft, and if the Xbox division is not making money, they'll shut it down.
The Xbox division is profitable. That's
right,
why
and so us making it more profitable, Sony making it more profitable,
it
doesn't help Sony.
Them going third party, them owning Activision and King and all that freaking microtransactions, that's what's making them profitable. So no matter what, they're going to be profitable. They're going up.
If Sony is by themselves, they'll do nothing but remaster The Last of Us.
The hardware and Xbox, the actual hardware will make them non-profitable, not the software.
Which is why they'll move.
Well, yeah, that's what the hardware never makes either one of them money.
So they say, why is it enough? Other people make hardware for them, but is it really an Xbox?
But here's the issue. Okay, so Sony right now is outselling Xbox. I just looked it up. It's 3-1. Okay, the consoles 3-1. What that means is they have a bigger ecosystem. So third parties will give them favorable deals based on the fact that they have more potential customers, right? So now if they start putting their games on Xbox and Xbox fans and other people who are on the fence of what they're going to buy, they go, well, the next console I could buy an Xbox because eventually the Sony games will come here, right? Or hey, the big, always online Helldiver type games are going on both systems all the time. So
I'm not talking about next. I'm not talking about next.
Right, you're talking about this gen, but again, this gen starts it. So then when I go to buy next gen, my thinking is, well, eventually those games will come here. Well, those those online games will be on both.
Next gen Xbox.
No more, Tony. Not after what Xbox had done this week. Nobody's thinking that anymore. Like nobody's giving Microsoft a chance anymore. If I'm not giving them a chance on the next console, you think the average person is going to do it? You think anybody?
Yeah, I think average people are dumb.
Nah.
I mean, look at Sturgis. Sturgis is an Xbox fan. He says he hates Sony. He's never buying a Sony console. So there's people like that.
He's just slow. That's all it is. He hasn't come to realization. A lot of Xbox fans that are out there are slow because we bleed green. You know, we always have. We were the ones who shunned PlayStation when they did what they did to the Dreamcast. And that's what we remember. We remember
they didn't do nothing to the Dreamcast.
PlayStation took out Sega, and that's what we remember.
They didn't take out Sega. Sega took out Sega when they announced their console and they fucking released it early.
That's why we turned to Xbox.
No, that was
the new people.
That was Sam.
They're gonna take it to PlayStation, and it did for a while, but then they lost their way, and now we're here.
Yeah. Well, Sega might be coming back, so who knows? Maybe it'll be the next
console will be
Sega Xbox.
They're thriving right now, being a third-party publisher. They're not gonna
look at Sega took out Sega.
I know Sega screwed Sega, but you know what I mean. You know, like PlayStation came and took their place. But no, Sega's not going to come back as a console maker. Like it makes no sense. They're thriving. They can put their games wherever they want. yeah.
There's going to be no more Xboxes though, right?
Everything's an Xbox supposedly, but in reality, nothing's an Xbox anymore because
So
Xbox
Sony have won.
died with the 360. They try to revive it with the Series X, with the Phil Spencer when he was there trying to buy things, and it sounded like they're gonna do it. They had all their money behind it, and then Xbox is done.
Well, according to this guy, it says, I think Xbox hardware is dead, says Microsoft gaming veteran.
No hardware. I don't know if you can believe them because they're liars, but they're gonna make a next Xbox, like a next gen Xbox. But that's gonna be
I don't think they are.
I think they're gonna change their mind. They're gonna let somebody else do it, and whatever.
I think it's what I said before. Right? If you remember, way back in the gap, I said that the next Xbox is just going to be a small little thing. That it's going to be quote unquote an Xbox, but it's really just going to be like a little thing that you hook up to the internet.
It'll be more like a Stadia.
Yeah,
and they'll be concentrating on games more than anything else. That's why they've been buying up all those studios.
That's what I think the next Xbox is going to be like. It'll be technically a console, but it'll be really more just like a
streaming box.
Yeah, like a streaming box. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think anybody's gonna fall for that one. Like a streaming. I guess if you just want something small to take with you, if it's travelable, instead of a Fire Stick or something.
Yeah, it'll be like that. It'll be essentially like a Fire Stick that you plug in, and it'll fucking still register your controllers or whatever. And there you go.
If they make it a tiny little box that looks like the original Xbox, do you remember that original design?
Yeah.
No.
That you can plug into your TV, people will fucking love that. $700, please.
Man, I just want one box where I can play all my games from every freaking launcher. That's all. That's all I want now. I don't even care what it is.
I just want to be
this guy here,
plug in one console, plug one thing in and play everything.
Yeah, and
it's never gonna happen. So
play it everywhere.
Well, you see that
the only way that happens. Okay, here there's two problems with that. One, Nintendo is never gonna put their IP on anything other than.
Sorry, I should have specified. Nintendo, I don't count as part of this because Nintendo do a completely different thing from.
Okay, and number two is Xbox and Sony either have to partner up or one of them has to just get out of the console market.
But that's where the way
there's no benefit. I'm sorry, but if you have a console, if you have two consoles, right, you have to have exclusives because exclusives drives customers. Whether or not you're making money on the console is irrelevant because the more customers you have, then third parties see you as a better platform, and then they give you better money, and you're making money off the software. You don't just make money off the first party software. You're making money off of the third party software and all the microtransactions and everything that goes along with it because it's in your ecosystem. That's why you need the exclusives, whether you make money on them or not. Just the fact that they exist and that drives people to your console.
You know that some of those games, some of those Xbox exclusives are now on PlayStation, right?
Yeah, that's why. But Xbox is losing. They were forced to put it because we have less subscribers here. We have less customers, right?
I wouldn't say
if everyone who bought it, if everyone who bought an Xbox bought a PlayStation would still have twice as many potential customers, right?
I don't even think the exclusives are even that big anymore. They don't even drive console sales. So, it's always just what games are going to be put on the system to begin with. Like, people are going to buy it because PlayStation is the name brand. It's like you're buying Nikes. You're buying, a Sony TV.
PlayStation is the Coca-Cola, and then Pepsi. Xbox. And you buy Pepsi when they run out of Coca-Cola.
Sony sells PlayStations just based on them being PlayStations.
But I think so. What sells more is Call of Duty, Madden, like all these casual ass games is what drives the sales for PlayStation. But
Xbox bought them. Microsoft bought the Call of Duty and everything, and that didn't help them.
Well, because they put everything on PlayStation.
Yeah, and they'll keep doing that.
PlayStation gamers and PC gamers. Then they probably would have had a chance. It would have took maybe longer, but if they kept on releasing all those games, eventually it's gonna, people will be like, oh, I want to play those games too. But Xbox wasn't about that, or Microsoft wasn't about that. They're about making as much as money as possible, not trying to, beat the market or play the game anymore. They're thinking corporate, bigger.
I think
outside the box, outside the Xbox.
Yeah, way outside the Xbox.
I think we're as close now as we've ever been to everything being on the one platform. And I think if there's not going to be another Xbox, I'd say that's it. Everything will be on PlayStation.
Deadbox. Well, that's good for me. But again, I worry. Xbox almost has to exist because the monopoly that PlayStation would have on AAA gaming would not be a good thing. As much as I would celebrate, I'm like, yeah, Sony, we crushed them. And I would be part of that. That'd be fucking team sports. I'd be saying we all day long. We crushed you, Xbox, right? But at the end of the day, it would be bad for the consumer because they would pretty much essentially have a monopoly. They would use Nintendo as like, no, see, we don't have a monopoly because Nintendo exists. But we would all know that Nintendo can't play games at the level that a PlayStation or Xbox could. And so essentially, they would have a monopoly on the video game market. And then you think $80 games are bad? We'd be getting $120 games.
Well, we already kind of get that. When they release a game and you've got to buy all that other shit that goes with it, or the DLC and...
No, it'd be like 120 off jump, and then all the other shit would drive it up to like 200.
Well, don't be a brokey then, bud.
Yeah. Microsoft left many pondering the future of Xbox hardware this month following the announcement of multiple partnerships with external hardware companies such as Rogbox, Ally, MetaQuest 3S, Xbox Edition, and multi-year deal with AMD. Let's see. The ROG Xbox Ally, in particular, hints at the potential direction of travel for Xbox, since it runs Windows and is effectively a portable PC that can even run games purchased from external stores such as Steam. Look at that. You get yourself a handheld Xbox. Aren't you excited, Potion?
I was excited about that. I was so excited. But like I said, not the way that Xbox is running their studios and their business right now. Like, what's there to be excited about that? If this ROG Ally X docked and I can play with my controller like I do my consoles, then yeah. I mean, fine. But that's only as powerful as these systems right now. I'm talking about next gen. Like, next gen, what the hell am I going to do? Like, this isn't going to play next gen games. It plays current gen games.
Maybe right now is a good time. You know, with Xbox leaving the market, maybe they'll partner up with Amico and Happy Home Games.
Speaking of those games, I was checking out Finnegan Fox and Evil Knievel, and they only have like 6 players or 2 players downloads, and one of them is Next Gen Gamer. So it's like, what the like? And supposedly they're gonna give people refunds and fund the business with that. Oh my god. Anyways, another Xbox.
The Happy Home Games, that whole thing. What are they going to do now? Because they said like, oh, once we put it on on Nintendo and stuff, we'll see where the future holds for us. And that didn't work out, like you said. So
yeah, they're going to use that for refunds. They're going to use it to fund the Amico joystick. They're going to use it to refund everybody, and not no more. Good thing they didn't put no marketing into it. I was waiting for Tommy Tallarico to come out and market it, but you know.
Yeah, his marketing was deleting everyone from Facebook and unfriending Mike Mullis and everybody.
Did he do that?
Yeah,
man.
And his personal Facebook account.
He came back, and that's what his first thing to do: get rid of them.
That was the only thing he did. He didn't do anything else, as far as I know. That whole thing. They want me to run a reunion stream.
Yeah, I was gonna make a video coming. I don't know. I'm working on it, but I was gonna reference that. But yeah, I heard. I was there. I didn't want to jump in because it was a shit show already, dude. And I was like, you saw the chat?
Nah, I wasn't paying attention to the chat.
The chat was awful, dude. And I was like, see, that's why you can never have a freaking Amico reunion, or that's why they shouldn't come back and talk about drama, because you see the chat and it just reminds you of all the ugliness.
Was that the one on Dazed's channel?
Yeah, he just came back recently and did a South stream with Carl. But
that's the one he ended up fucking having to go after Ninja Kitty for.
Yeah, Ninja Kitty was in there too. You know, everybody was just airing out all their grievances for a while.
Oh no, I had to go private with him. I went, what the fuck are you talking about? Like we worked it out. It was
Did you?
misunderstanding. Tony confused me for Sweet and Tender Hooligan, I think. Again.
I didn't misunderstand anything. I literally said, I saw the screenshots of what you said, Ninja Kitty. Finbar saw them too. I didn't say Finbar told me. Finbar gave me the screenshot. Finbar saw them too.
I think he got the wrong end of it then.
No, he just wants to fucking blame you. He wants to blame other people instead of saying, yeah, I talked shit about you. I did a bunch of shit.
No.
The other day on stream, I showed all the screenshots and I showed the shit he was saying about fucking Mint.
Oh, yeah.
So him, the idea that they don't exist or these things didn't happen, he can go fuck himself. Okay.
No, I have no issues with Ninja Kitty at all, but he was very precise and on it in the chat. Like everything that Tony said, he was dissecting, so there was no misunderstanding of what Tony said at all. Like I can tell by what he was responding in the chat. So if he told you something different than what Tony said or showed you, then Finbar's just being disingenuous. I mean, sorry, Ninja Kitty.
Everyone plays Finbar.
Right.
So just a heads up. I have no stake in the game or whatever happened between them. But I saw the chat and I saw the back and forth, and Ninja Kitty was spot on with all his responses, dissecting everything, like didn't miss a beat of what Tony said.
Yeah, 56. I addressed that with him. I wanted to know exactly what lies he was talking about, and he couldn't. I mean, I could just show you publicly now the DMs between me and him, but it's pointless. It seems like he said he was given bad intel about something I'd said, and I went, "No, it's not true." Here's proof.
Again, I think he's just trying to fucking push blame off on you.
I don't really care what he does, to be honest. But
I'm just saying,
if he's going to say I'm lying about something, I want to hear what it is specifically, because I have told lies in the past.
You're not really Scottish.
Not about.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I said I make X amount of money on YouTube, and they're like dissecting and like they're trying to like add up and like multiply. Like, well, hold on, wait a minute. The math's not mathing.
And I mean, the chat just kept on going beyond that for so long, and I was just thinking, like, man, if they do have like first of all, the Amico people won't go except for Retro Bro, maybe Saggy, but
no, Saggy said no. I already talked about it.
So yeah, it's like
they don't want to be reminded.
It brings in too much drama. It brings in all the people that you don't want on your channel anymore. So
yeah, I think Saggy and Retro Bro have moved on beyond it, and anybody that will come to
should move on because he's doing his video game stuff, so he has an angle now to actually do something productive, and so it's like, why even go back into the mud?
Yeah,
that's what I said. I said there's nothing there for me. I'm not gonna. There's no point.
I mean, you can't monetize. I mean, you can monetize it, but you can't make money really on there. There's no positive side.
Why go backwards? We've all moved on.
If he's asking for balls on the table, do you want me to just show you the DMs live on the show?
You can. I mean, they're yours and Ninja Kitties. Between the two of you. It's pointless indeed. We don't need the fine detail of any of this. Well, anyway, look at Sega says consoles.
No, then.
Sega president wants to believe in consoles while you're getting that ready. Shuji Utsumi is a console fan. He launched the PlayStation and Dreamcast, and Sega continues to be a huge supporter of console hardware. The publisher is one of the biggest developers working on Nintendo Switch 2, for example, with 3 Switch 2 launch titles and a further 2 to follow. Yet he's concerned about the future of console business due to growing pressure from both PC and mobile. Look at that. I'm telling you, he's going to get back into consoles, Potion. Sega Xbox. He's going to save the Xbox. Could you imagine the exclusives? A new fucking, like I was saying, Streets of Rage, a new Shinobi, new fucking Altered Beast, Golden Axe.
They're making a new Shinobi. It's a 2D.
But I'm saying all that exclusive to Xbox. I would get an Xbox. If Sega came back and took all their IP exclusives to Xbox, I would take a hard look at it and go, I might have to buy one.
Sega doesn't even have. They're not even making those games themselves. They're getting rich off of. I don't know. I guess Sonic is making a comeback, but. What the hell?
Sega is nothing to us if they don't release Crazy Taxi.
That's making them so great right now. I really don't know. Tell you the truth, I haven't bought a Sega game besides Sonic in a bit.
Itsumi feels consoles do offer a distinct experience from those other 2 platforms. Sometimes you want to play in a different style. Sometimes you want to relax and play in the living room with the big screen. That's one way. Sometimes you want to kill time on some mobile games and a PC game. It's sitting in front of a desk doing something more serious. There's lots of ways to enjoy gaming, and among all those activities, I want to believe the console is going to give us a very nice opportunities. Telling you, Sega's coming back, baby. Revive the console wars. All right, here's Finbar's.
Right, I'm not going to go all the way down here because there's something that gets said later on that I don't want getting made public.
Uh-oh.
I didn't watch this stream. This was DM'd to me, this screenshot. He's replying to something obviously you've said on the stream where he went, lol, that never happened, and then Finbar makes shit up also. So I said to him, do tell. And then he says, stirring the pot and exaggerating unnecessarily to create drama. Literally, the Geek Getaway went upside down the moment Tony invited you in, so it's my fault, right? It's my fault. He goes, it's all good though. It was inevitably going to stop at some point. I just laughed at it and I said, I stirred shit with who exactly?
Well, did you hear when you showed up? That's when I did a 180 on my whole personality. I became a new person.
It's my fault, of course. I went, I think you've got me confused with Bob. And then he said Tony, so he's replying to stirred shit with who? And I went, cite one example where I stirred shit with Tony to create unnecessary drama. And then he went, Tony talked about it in that stream. And I'm like, I didn't watch the stream. I was DM'd that. And he said it was a response to Tony who said you were the reason why he blocked me and banned me. Did you say that on that stream?
No, I exactly said what I just told you.
Tony said that the reason why he banned him was because he saw a post on Retro Bros Discord or something and of him talking shit.
That's what I was. So this is my understanding as well. No, you've got to remember at the time this happened, I wasn't.
That's why
I wasn't even here.
That screenshot that you got was him saying no, that never happened. You know, that supposedly, I guess he never talked shit in the Discord. But then,
right. Well, yeah. I've seen screenshots to the contrary, but it wasn't me that presented it to Tony. It was.
He didn't mention you. He didn't mention you. Tony didn't mention you.
Right. So I said that literally. Then I linked.
And bar, lies came out of nowhere.
So I chucked him a screenshot between me and Tony because I'm asking, what's this crackhead talking about? Then showed the screenshot of this, what we were talking about here. And then Tony comes back to me and says, I said Ninja shit talked me in Retro's Discord and you saw it too. And I think he's trying to spin that you made it up. And I went, I wasn't even in Retro Bros Discord, dumbass. You've got me mixed up with somebody else, which Tony has done before. He's mixed me up with Sweet and Tender before. And there you go. Sweet and Tender's screenshot from a Discord.
Yeah, but I don't even think Tony. I don't remember Tony mixing you up with anybody.
Oh, he has. I know he's mixed me up before with people.
No, he probably has, but not stream.
Of course, the original shit stirrer here as well is involved somewhere. So I'm like, he sends me that as well. That's a comment. I think that was that in the comment to that live stream.
Yeah.
That there, right? And I said, but what's that? Any of that got to do with me, man? I was like, fucking Ninja Kitty's been harboring resentment over me for years for something I never did. And then Tony's like, you took his spot, and I went, how's that my fault? So I goes back to him and I said, this is back to Ninja Kitty. I said, you two are a pair of fat boomer idiots that should have squashed whatever gay beef was between you ages ago. And I was like that to him. Why didn't you reach out to me? Because he could, if he has a problem with me, he could have said something. And he goes, well, I'll take back my comment. I was given false info. But from who? And I said, what kind of £500 undercover cop are you, Ninja Kitty? And then he's like, I trusted Tony because I consider him still a buddy. And I was like, if I was the least confrontational, least drama-focused person on that channel, and it's true, I never went out of my way to attack anybody or go after anybody. I only ever did when Tony led me there. So I blame Tony. And I said, believe me, if I ever had the slightest inkling you felt any kind of way about me negatively, I would have talked to you immediately to resolve it. And I don't want to go any further than that. Yeah, there's something else he mentions here that I'd rather speak to Tony about privately first. But that was the crux of it. That's why I was pissed off. But we squared it. It's fine.
Well, here's the stream. Okay, we'll listen to the stream.
Not the whole thing, man.
No, we just listen to the second. Okay, the transcript. We're all good. Ninja Kitty knows. Okay, here it is.
Ask Tony why he banned me.
So Ninja Kitty's in the chat going, ask Tony why he blocked and banned me. Okay.
Right.
So here's my response. Oh, Ninja Kitty knows.
Oh,
I have a zero tolerance policy for people going into other people's Discords and talking shit about me. When we're supposed to be cool, like me and you were cool days, right? So if I found out you were like in Retro Bros Discord shit talking me, I'd be very upset. I'd be like, well, I guess we're not cool, so fuck them. And I'd block you and ban you.
Maybe I have.
No, you haven't, because I got eyes everywhere. That's how I know Ninja Kitty was in Retro Bros Discord talking shit about me.
Oh,
See, I told you Blinded in the chat.
Blinded is here.
It's because I told them, because I went into the group chat and said, hey, fucking Dazed is streaming.
Yep. I'm back, I guess. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
You see, did I say you told me anything?
No, but he hasn't got to that part where.
Yes, he did. He says right there, lol,
No.
that never happened.
Finbar makes
No.
stuff up. So what's he referencing?
No, that is it right there. He says, lol, that never happened.
No, but then.
Yeah, and then we're just gonna go on more with me just saying the same thing. I'm never, you don't get mentioned. Here, look, Ninja Kitty, you say it never happened. You can go ahead and ask Finbar because he saw the screenshot.
Hang on, I'll be right back. I got to take it.
You can ask Finbar because he saw the screenshots.
Uh-huh.
How was that Finbar?
And then he replied to that as Finbar makes stuff up.
Yeah.
Right.
You can ask Finbar. He saw the screenshots. Not Finbar gave me screenshots. Not Finbar took screenshots. Not Finbar told me. You can ask him because he saw the screenshots.
Yeah, because we all did.
If you guys want to know, Genovi gave me the screenshots. Okay, so we're all clear. Genovi was the one in Retro Bros Discord, and he gave me a shit ton of screenshots, tons of them. Okay. He would message me almost daily, going, "Hey, did you see this shit? Hey, I thought you and Ninja Kitty were cool. Did you see this shit? Hey, did you see what Bob said about you? Hey, did you see what Retro Bros saying about you?
Bob talking shit too?
Whoa, what Bob say?
Well, Bob. I know Bob didn't like me, but you.
Gary, everybody. As soon as like they stop coming on the channel or like they disagree with me on something, they're oh, I can't believe Tony's boring. Oh, Tony's this. It's the same shit from everybody.
Like I always say, Tony deserves what he gets. Like joking because you start fights with everybody. But I mean, I don't talk shit, man.
Well, yeah, you going, hey, he deserves what he gets. It's fine. If you were like, hey, if I did something legitimately dumb, and someone's like, hey, did you see that dumb thing Tony did? That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly you're like, oh, yeah, Tony never paid me, and also he's gay, and I hate him, and he's like the most boring person ever. I go, wow, I was boring, but you were on my show for like 3 years, like.
Yeah, no, that's not cool, man.
I only ever talk shit about you in the art room with Ben and TJ. And it's nothing I won't say to your face. So
fuck. There's 33 questions in the Ask Us Anything. Why did I open that up to everybody?
It's all Jan.
Probably. I haven't looked at it. I just seen that there's 33. I don't agree with Tony 1984, but you'll never see me act like those Amico rejects. Look, like I said, the chat gives me shit all the time. The chat's always talking shit about me. But there's a difference. Again, if you're going somewhere and saying a bunch of shit about me behind my back and then coming to me and in my face, you're telling me something completely different, that's a problem, right? Finbar is all the time telling me shit, going, hey, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do that thing. Don't be dumb.
But he tells you,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I said that to Ninja Kitty. It goes, the two of you are fat boomer idiots, and you are.
Yeah.
But I would say that to both of your faces.
At that time, so,
I'm not a boomer idiot. I'm a
well, you fucking act like one sometimes.
But just, Stubborn. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the Mexican in me. That's why I'm always stubborn.
I'm not fat.
I'm fat. I'm getting there. I'm trying not to be a fat. Yeah. All right, let's end this show. Let's get to the good stuff. You can stick around if you want, Ocean. No, you came in just to yell at me.
I'll stick for a bit.
Let him answer
I'll listen.
some of these 33 questions.
Yeah. So I asked the only poll question. I keep forgetting to put poll questions. Should I host an Intellivision Amico community reunion? That only got 88 votes. So only 88 people were interested in that. And out of that 88, less than 44, less than half said yes. So it looks like it's not happening, gentlemen.
What are the comments on there?
The comments are...
Jan?
I'm voting yes. Not sure why. Jan says, hell yeah. Invite people like No Square Gamer, Gen X Gamer, Slopes Gaming, Smash JT, Blinded, and Retro Bro. McCarlo says, Mr. Carlos says, I know I want this. Cannot let anyone forget they were scammed. Grumpy says, been long enough. Y'all can commiserate in the now old days, I think. Only way to get 10,000 subs, says 56K warning. So, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's enough interest in it.
No.
In the old days, seriously, because in the old days, if I would have put an Amico question, 200 people would have fucking answered that, right? Now, 88. Jan, you know there's a 5-question limit, right? So we're going to go from the bottom up, and once we hit 5 of your questions, Jan, that's it. I'm going to stop.
It used to be 3.
3? Oh, it's a 3-question limit. You're right. John Porton says, why?
Holy shoot.
Why not? Why not? CJH says, what? I don't know how to answer that. World of Subjugate says, I'm trying to find an artist for my comic. I'm a couple months out from actually needing to hire them, but what's a good place to find CG artists, or at the very least, just not anti-CG artists? I've been scrolling Comicsgate on X. Just curious if there's a better place. Well, the best place you can go is there is a community. I don't know, when you're scrolling Comicsgate, are you scrolling the hashtag or the actual community? If you're in the community, try to make a post essentially saying the same thing. Looking for an artist is hard because what kind of artist are you looking for? You're looking for someone who does a more manga style, someone who does a more Archie style, a more 90s Marvel, right? So I would put a post out saying, hey, I'm looking for an artist, someone who's Comicsgate friendly, who can draw, and then have an example of what you want, like something like this, right? And also, you got to realize there's going to be a price attached to that.
Yeah, have a budget in mind before you go in there.
Yeah. The other place you can go is you can go in my chat, you can go in Katie's chat, Ethan's chat, Dane's chat, John Malin's chat. Just go, hey, I'm looking for an artist to work on a project. And there'll invariably be somebody who's pro CG in the chat that'll hit you up.
Just stay away from Zombie Boy.
Yeah. Zombie Boy and John Wong is ours. Can't have him. And Ben. You can't have Ben.
And also Stray Beans now because he's busy. So stay away from him. Don't give any of these guys work is what we're saying.
Yeah. We got a Mr. Carlos says when, and Veruca Saki says who. Going off of the what and the why, apparently. Yeah. What did you do to piss off Mint Salad and Dirty Dalish?
Well, the women, for a start.
Yeah. Well, Hamilton, they're actually two different reasons, two different scenarios going on there. I was not prepared for this.
I was wondering too. I didn't want to ask though.
Lamal, Tony sucks with women. I do. They all hate me, and then eventually they like me. All right. So what happened with Mint Salad? Here's what happened. Okay, it's I was trying to not cause too much drama. I know this is gonna sound really dumb, but I was trying to basically not cause drama. Mike Wheeler had said a bunch of shit about Mint. At that point, I was still more or less okay with Mike, right? Like I knew he didn't like Ethan and CG, but he wouldn't say that shit in my chat, and he would try to say some shit in DMs, but I would be like, hey, I don't want to hear it. Right? It's not what I'm here for, right? So we were on friendly terms. Okay, we weren't friends by any means, but at the very least, we weren't going at each other, right? And he said something about Mint, and basically I said, hey, that's fucked up. You shouldn't be saying that shit, right? It's not true. I said Mint's, she's a good person. She's wants to really be involved in Comicsgate. She actually does like comics. And so Mike said, okay, well, I'll apologize. And he made an apology. He put out an apology tweet and said, and he told me basically, well, if Mint's really serious about wanting to work on comics, you let her know that, if she needs any help, I'll be willing to help her. Okay. And so me being stupid, and I legitimately admit that this is stupid, instead of just saying, okay, Mike, and not doing anything with that, I actually said, hey, Riley, just so you know, Mike said that if Mint needs any help trying to do comics, that he'll be there to help her, right? Just passing the message. That did not sit well with Mint and Riley. And they basically said, what sort of help could Mike have to offer Mint, right? Like it's ridiculous that you would even think that Mike has anything to offer Mint. I said, well, I'm just passing the message. I said, at the very least, Mindy does draw pretty decently, right? And apparently that was not the right thing to say. That was a very dumb thing to say, and so that pissed them off, and that's why Mint blocked me and said basically she was no longer going to associate with me. So that was that. So I'm glad I could answer that question for you.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds more like a misunderstanding to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah. When I heard about Dalish, I facepalmed too hard. As far as why Dalish hates me, it's a very complicated situation. All right, let's just say that how can I put? I gotta put this in I gotta frame this.
Let's just say that let me help you. Let's just say that you going over to LA and meeting her was not a good idea. I think I remember mentioning to you before you went that it's not a good idea, and you both shot it down, you and TJ. Because when she met you, she realised you're a dickhead.
Right. That's part of it. I think
she also became just fatigued with the whole thing as well, with the whole CG drama stuff.
There was it's my fault, 100% my fault. Okay, but again, it's because I see things differently from other people, right? And so let me give you an example of one of those things. Okay, Dalish had mentioned some about streaming, and that certain people were no longer in her streams, right? And she had mentioned that Krimkle, Dickington Post, wasn't in her streams anymore. And so I was like, well, I talked to Krim, so I asked him, I said, hey, Krim. And she blamed me. She said Krimkle wasn't in the streams anymore because of me. So I asked him, and she got mad that I would ask Krimkle why he wasn't in her streams anymore after she blamed me for why he wasn't in his streams anymore.
Yeah. I think she felt like you were interfering, right?
Yeah. She said that I was interfering. I was overly involved. Right. And again, if you blame me for something and I go, well, it's not my fault, and I could give you the proof that it's not my fault, and the person goes, yeah, it's not Tony's fault. I just stopped watching because I kind of fell off, right? I got busy with other things and I just kind of fell off watching. Instead of going, oh, I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry that I blamed you. It was like, no. And then there was other things, personal things. Things got too weird, right? So that's the long and short of it. And I'm sure just talking about it is going to be a whole world of trouble, right? So in my experience, whatever reasons they give you, that's not it. Yeah.
It's probably just because a lot of people hate you, Tony, and so you get a lot of backlash being your friend and shit. And they are girls, very emotional, driven. And so there's like figured, why deal with it? It's not worth the hassle to be part of Tony's crew.
Like I said, I wish them well. I wish them all the success in the world. I wish they all get $1 million.
That's all you can do. Yep.
So hopefully that'll put that to rest, and we'll never have to talk about that ever again. Ever.
Nunca.
But the reason why I think she's kind of fatigued with it all is because she kind of cut ties with the whole CG side. I know she still talks to Mint and Riley, probably.
What kind of part of never do you understand, Finbar?
No, we're not past that yet, though, Potion.
Just talking.
Never. Yeah. Like I said, I wish her well. I wish her all the success.
And we're always here if she wants to come back.
Yeah,
I know. We're all
Doors open.
Yeah,
doors always open for whenever I fuck up. If it's my fuck up, doors are always open. If it's your fuck up, you can't come back, Gary.
You gotta buy some chocolates. Do something.
Yeah. But look, like I said, I fucked up. I definitely again, I'm trying not to like justify, like it's really hard for me, right? Because I didn't have bad intentions. Things that I do, things that I say, people interpret it as bad, or like Tony's trying to do things. Like, no, it's like I just thought I was being nice, right? I thought I was being a nice person by going, hey, Krim, can you tell me what really happened, right? Like, that's me just because I need to know things, right? Maybe it was my fault. Like, oh, fuck, it really was my fault. Now I got to fix it, right? Because that's the kind of person I am. Like, I want to fix things if I fuck up. So
yeah. I think you're the kind of person you probably need to brainstorm an idea with people before you go and do it.
Yeah, hey, remember, what do you think? If he's busy, someone else.
I would be like, going to LA, a bad idea, Tony. And then you'd be like, you're right, Finn, I won't go.
No, that wasn't bad. That was a great idea. Going to LA, getting on the show. I think that was fine.
I think what you should have done is biggest problem remotely from your house and never met any of these people, and then they wouldn't have met you and realized you were fucking weird, right?
No, they probably would have realized I was weird. Anyway, moving on. And hopefully that this will be the one stream that gets clipped, the one like section of all the stupid shit I've said. Jan Ong says, what are your thoughts on Nintendo bricking Switch 2 consoles? I think that's kind of retarded. I think they should not be bricking your console. I think it has to do with being banned and then not being able to access your games because you're permabanned from their ecosystem. I definitely think they should have thought of something other than that if they're going to ban you from online services for whatever reason, right?
Mm.
Like I always think like if you get banned from Microsoft Online, that should not affect your offline games. It shouldn't affect like your ability to play the system, like with a disc or whatever. So that's definitely a issue, a problem. Now, what do you guys feel?
No, same thing. They should be able to keep you from, playing online games, keep you from maybe downloading games on their internet system, whatever, but not keep you from playing your system. You bought the system. Yeah. Like, it's like I really think they're intruding into your house like cops do without a warrant, and they shouldn't be able to do that.
We were just talking about how people throw in politics for no reason in the middle of something.
No, but
we brought it back around.
They're going into your house cyberly to brick something that you bought physically. Like, what is that? That's crazy.
For a lot of money as well. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's we don't allow corporations or the cops to go into our house and break our systems. Like, why do we let corporations do that? That's nuts.
I allow them all the time. They can come in and shoot my PlayStation whenever they want. Jan Ong also asked, why is Nintendo selling old games for $80? Because they can.
Because they can.
And people buy them.
Yeah. Why do people buy the Switch 2 despite the price and lack of launch titles? Because they want it.
They want it, yeah. People have no self-control.
Like I can't like it's a different answer for every person, but essentially it just comes down to they want a thing and they have the money to buy it, right?
Or they borrow the money to buy it, but still.
Or they stole it off the back of a truck. But either way,
they weren't all Jan On questions. There was one more in there from somebody else as well.
Stray Bean says, "Did you see the Mark Miller Eric July interview? If so, did you get the impression Eric wanted Mark to adopt him?" I did not see the interview, so I did not get any impressions, Stray Beans. But we'll definitely take a look if there's any clips worthy of being clipped. Beefy put 2 questions. What is your favorite Jim Shooter comic? Secret Wars.
Yeah, R.I.P. Jim Shooter.
Yeah. And he says, when are you going to post more on your comic channel? Probably this week coming up. Like I said, I'm working on some things. I want to have some actual edited content and not just me fucking around. So There it is. 56 says I buy things when I'm bored. Me too. Usually it's food though, so that's always fucked up. Oh well. I'm gonna give you a little taste of what you missed, guys, because no one wanted to come in. You could have had. Look at it.
Nice.
A lot of ass just going to waste.
Tune in next week to see who that is.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming in. Thank you, Potion, for coming in to yell at me. And Hamilton Burger, I appreciate your question, even though it probably got me in a whole bunch of trouble. But until next time, if there is a next time, love, peace, booty grease. I'm out this.